High vibrations, beautiful souls. Appreciate you all for being here under this Leo new moon. Tonight, I'll be discussing the power of this Leo energy, kind of reflecting on where we are within the signs of the times and all that good stuff. I'll also be using a PDF, and I want to let you all know before I get started, the PDF is available for purchase. It is $22. And if you want to get a transit reading, a personal transit reading, that will be $99. If you purchase the Transits reading, you get the PDF for free, so you don't have to pay an extra $22. Once again, if you want to get a personal Transits reading, it is $99. If you are interested in purchasing the PDF, it would be $22. And just let me know if you want to purchase it. I'll put my Cash App in the chat. If you do Cash App me and you want the PDF, make sure you put your email address inside of your send. That way I'll know to send it to your specific email. That's for those people who emails address I don't already have. All right. So once again, if you are interested in purchasing the PDF, it is $22. If you want to get a personal transit reading, it will be 99. And the personal transit reading will give you the PDF for free. All right. So how's the vibration to you all? I want to get off into the themes of this Leo new moon, but before I do, of course, I got to set the record straight. Of course, it's talking about the things that we are experiencing under this Leo new moon, especially with the energy of courage and confidence and all that good stuff. You know, Leo, this energy is especially about coming into the energy of courage and clarity and moving with a sense of vitality. Leo is it's all about doing it with your chest. Leo, you know, people confuse their pridefulness with egotistical aspects. Now we deal with the persona of the matters of the self. Sometimes we can become so ego sensitive because we identify with every goddamn thing. All right. So being able to not be so sensitive when it comes to the matters of you just being you, you just doing you, unapologetically, unashamed to be yourself. All right, opens up a different dynamic of individuality. All right, this is the polarity between Leo and Aquarius. Those two placements, those axes, and as y'all know, well, a lot of y'all might not be familiar with astrology, but every astrological sign has a so-called opposing sign. Now, when you deal with something in opposition, that's something 180 degrees away from a sign. Now, you bring 180 and 180, you get 360. So Leo and Aquarius is about lovers and friends. Leo and Aquarius is about being able to embrace your authentic self so you can integrate into the crowd. You know, to integrate requires a level of integrity. So that means you got to drop what you think is you. That's why Leo also can deal with lovers. All right, being dramatic. It can also rule your parenting skills and the way you were parented. All right. Leo also deals with the archetype of your father. All right, the father energy. It's a masculine principle in dealing with the zodiacs, or feminine principle in dealing with the zodiacs. But the way it shows up is our ability to parent from a place of honoring the matters of the heart, caring about how somebody else feels, right? This can make somebody dramatic. So when you deal with the drama that Leo can bring, right, the different aspects that Leo can show up in your chart, it can just depend on how it's aspected in your chart. You don't have to be a Leo sun sign or a Leo moon sign or a Leo rising to actually experience the power of Leo or be subjected to the energy of Leo. It just depends on what's going on in your fifth house in your chart. Also, different degrees that are associated with Leo. So this energy can really reflect in our lives in a lot of different ways, especially when it comes to the matters of lovers and friends and integrating into the crowd, doing things that are the matters of the heart. Leo also rules life coaching, right? Being able to have this sense of creativity. So people with heavy Leo placements are always good at like graphic design, um, putting parties together, the ambiance, the aesthetics. Leo gonna make something look good. They gonna make it big. You know what I'm saying? I love to say that out of all of the fire signs, Leo is the adolescent, is the teenager, right? Aries is like the baby of the fire signs. Sagittarius is the adult of the fire signs. All right. So Leo comes with a teenager kind of mentality, right? It's kind of like right in the middle. You know, I like to say Aquarius or Aries will go out of town broke, right? Aries is like that look at me, look at me. Seem like somebody always coming to the rescue or they trying to rescue somebody else. The Leo archetype is all about me taking center stage, the pride of my family, like the pride of the Leo, the pride of the lioness. right? So the lioness energy, the segment energy, our ability to transform things, right? So I'm gonna go deeper into this archetype of Leo, and even the power of how it shows up in our life. All right. So once again, I want to thank you all for being here and appreciate you all for your time, your energy, and all that good stuff. Um, and once again, if you want to purchase this PDF, if you are interested in getting your full transits reading on a personal level, make sure you hit me up. All right. Now, can everybody see my screen? I want to make sure y'all can see my screen here. Let me turn it sideways so we can make sure we get some good sight going on here. Now, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
All right, appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, the theme of this new moon is from performing to embodying. All right. This is about the embodiment. I love to say with the Leo energy, if you stop playing the character, right? Stop being the actor so you can become your own act. When you're not playing a character, there's nothing for people to attack. You get what I'm saying? So this whole energy is about the authentic self, the embodiment of the matters of you just being you. And you'll see the way this Leo moon is set up. We already in the full moon energy as I speak. And of course, remember this PDF comes with a ritual for those of you who can't afford the $99 full breakdown on a personal level. This PDF has breakdowns of the risings, the sun signs, the moon signs, and also the midhaven. And also, I got to focus on Chiron in Leo and people with North Node in Leo or North Node in the fifth house or Chiron in the fifth house. Now, I'm going to break those placements down because I want to really get into that archetype aspect to show you all the power of it. And when you deal with the new moon, you're dealing with new seeds. All right. So the sun conjunct the moon conjunction. Whenever you get two signs or two planetary energies sharing the same sign within a certain aspect of a degree, this is called a conjunction. All right. Anytime a conjunction happens, it's a reset. It's always an aspect where two things are coming together to create one result. A lot of major shifts happen in the cosmos or even in this reality after conjunctions kind of occur. All right, so this is also occurring during the dog days of summer. The reason why we call this a dog days of summer because Sirius rising helically. Now, dealing with the helical nature, this is also dealing with the movement of the sun. All right. This is infusing the sun rays with stellar frequencies of ancient light, sovereignty, and rebirth. Now, when you deal with the ecliptical belt, right, and the way the sun moves across the ecliptic, this gives you the measurement of what we call helical, right? So when you're dealing with the movement of the sun across the sky 1 degree every day, this is why we go through 29, 30 days of a sun sign, and then it ingresses into a new sign. So this kind of way the West measure time. And as you go into a lot of Eastern cultures, Ethiopia, things like that, you get an aspect of measuring the sun by the moon's energy. All right. So this new moon is about new seeds. This Leo new moon is a spark of the bold reinvention of the self, a cosmic initiation into courageous self-expression, time to take some creative risks. Leo also deals with gambling, but it's not so much as a gambling because a lot of Leos won't gamble, but it's taking a chance on yourself. Anytime you do some shit that it's your first time doing it, you might not be sure of the outcome. You might not be sure how it's gonna turn out. Yeah, you might not even be sure you know what the fuck you doing. But when you do it, it's like doing it afraid, doing it anyway, doing it regardless of what your mind is telling you, because the heart becomes the true master. This is when they say do it with some courage, right? Sometimes we have a lot of confidence, but not a lot of clarity. Now that can lead to an accident waiting to happen. So when you're dealing with leadership through authenticity, the inner child reawakening, with the sun conjunct the 1 degree Leo and the 0 point, it is a powerful reset for your personal radiance and your soul mission. The first degree of any sign carries primal energy. And in the Leo, it demands that we own our light unapologetically. You are the light, the truth, and the motherfucking way. Y'all know I've been saying that for years, and I mean that shit because when you understand the powers of your heart, through your heart is the way. Now, I'm going to get more into that as I go on. Now, Leo, ruled by the sun, it represents the self in full creative expression. It is a sign of radiance, leadership, courage, performance, artistry, play, and heart-centered living. Just think about a child when you think about this. All right, the essence of a child. and how a child does everything from the heart until somebody start dispelling, or I would say deflecting or impressing fear. This is where indoctrination comes into play. Now, when you deal with this energy of the Sirius alignment and the dog days of summer, the Sirius star constellation, very powerful star constellation that was discovered a long time ago by the Cometians, by the Phoenicians, by Kush, by all across the Nile Valley, even in the ancient systems of astrology, understanding even the doggone
Hey.
tribe. All right. So within the doggone tribe, they very well were reverencing this star, and they talked about how it came down. For those of you who were in my feminine energy workshop, we talked about the Hydra. We talked about the seven sisters, all right, and all that good stuff. So we talking about consciousness, okay? And the star systems are all about aligning with the essence of what is stellarly being projected into us in this cosmos, and you are a part of the stars as well. Your body's made up of 93% stardust. All right, that's not pseudoscience. You can go look that up. So when it aligns with Sirius and the spiritual sun, that's the spiritual sun of our solar system, Sirius. It's called the Alpha Canis Majoris, right? It's kind of where we see you dealing with the Orion's belt and all this kind of stuff. So it is the spiritual sun. It is the spiritual sun, and in many traditions, Kemet, doggone ancient Greece, during the helical rising, Sirius aligns with the sun, infusing Earth with galactic memory, ancestral DNA activations, and purging of false egotistical, egoic identities. So the ego-sensitive part of the self, the egocentric part of the self, and that means that everything you identify with that you think is you, right? Sometimes we live through an accumulation of the things that we done gathered, the titles, the names, mother, sister, daughter, friend, lover, brother, husband, all this type of stuff. But all those are just expressions of you. They're not you. Just like your thoughts and your emotions are yours, but they are not you. They the shit you done accumulated. They are the things that you done gathered. Of course, this is not to gloss over those things because through adversity, we build the character. And the whole thing is for you to stop playing one. So that's why the more mature you get, the more you drop all the bullshit that you can grow from, and you turn your wounds into wisdom, and the knowledge applied becomes power. Knowledge applied becomes wisdom. Wisdom is power. All right. So this new moon is going to activate a lot of ancient lineages, even on the solar wisdom of the Commission aspect, as Ceres was revered as Sobek, right? The goddess of fertility, timing, and renewal of the now. All right. The Nile River, equate that to your emotions. The renewal of your emotions. Your body's 72% water. The moon was once ancient called sin. You can look this up. Of course, then they get into other culture and they start to call the moon Luna, which is where we get the word lunatic from. The moon acts as a satellite. The moon only amplifies the nature of a being, the nature of the beast per se. All right. So this is why you will see during a lot of times during new and full moons, certain measures are taken out even by law enforcement, the hospitals, especially during full moons. The hospitals kind of be more mindful of their own staff. A lot of things illuminate during the full moon. This new moon is going to take us into the full moon in Aquarius, which will be going over this next moon cycle. Now, Sirius at 14 degrees has an esoteric connection to ancient Kemet or Egypt, is what people call it. Now, the goddess Isis or Set, ancestral DNA, memory. That is the great mother energy. All right. Or Set, the word Isis means throne. All right. That principle of the femininity stands for, it means resilience. All right. So the memory that is connected to that has a lot to do with the mitochondrial DNA. And so when you deal with this new moon Sirius, it's still highly active during the conjunction, and even between July 6th and the 7th. This just kind of show you where this energy starts to begin and how it comes to a culmination as we begin to round out into the Lionsgate portal when we get into August the 8th, all right, 8-8 energy. Now, this new moon allows for a cosmic transmission window, encoding Leo's fire with divine remembrance, the lion-hearted courage, and the soul legacy awareness. Leo governs the heart, the solar plexus, self-expression, creativity, and sacred leadership. The inner child, joy, performance, generosity, and the willingness to be seen and shine. All right, let your light shine, baby. So reclaiming the divine sovereign self on a spiritual level, restructuring leadership and fame on a mundane level. Real life aspects is going to be creative courage and authentic voice. All right, opening the heart to divine will, exposure of false idols and egos. Just pay attention to what's going on. Look at, I gotta give this cause today Hulk Hogan died. It was a lot of people idols, right? And I had Hulk Hogan action figures when I grew up. But when people went to say, "Oh, this man couldn't stand black people, he hated niggas," he used to use that word very, very sparingly, all right, and willingly, I would say. So when you talking about the idol worship, celebrity, the energy of celebrity deals with Leo. Just think about the recent death of certain celebrities that has happened that has really started to damage or deal with people's identity of these people. Right? I see a lot of people that wish celebrities birthdays or happy birthday or they people die and they begin to reverence these people, but you don't even have the same reverence for somebody that might be in your family or in your immediate neighborhood. But that's a whole nother story. All right. But when you understand the power of celebrity and why they called us celebrity, celestial energy, stars, they're called stars. All right. People miss this energy. You're not even aware that why they will use star power, right? And standing next to a certain star or celebrity, right? A picture with them, you have an experience with them. This can open you up to feeling like you a whole motherfucking celebrity. Or people say, "Oh, you made it. You over here dealing with them, you done made it." You know what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with reconnecting with the joy and the play and your own purpose, that is going to be one of the most powerful things that we can do for ourselves right now. A lot of people lost their ability to be joyful. It's when I use the scenario of Peter Pan, right? If you've been, no pirates can get into Never Never Land, and you talk about a pirate, all those were adults in Peter Pan. And the reason why those pirates weren't able to get in there because a lot of adults had lost their inner joy and just got too serious about life, too serious about what people think about you. Everything somebody say about you, there's a reaction. You got to react. You know what I'm saying? So in the reaction lies memory, and the response lies consciousness. So receiving ancestral solar codes via Sirius, disruption of the top-down structures, starting new business and art and romance. So Mercury in retrograde, a lot of X's could be coming around, but sometimes you can use this X energy to realize what you don't want. You can also say, okay, I had somebody that did a lot of this. I can look for that in my next relationship per se. So being able to take these lessons with you and not hold on to the bitterness because that can become some heaviness of the heart. Now, this Leo new moon is a richer in quantum frequencies due to this Uranus in Gemini, electrifying consciousness. Pluto in Aquarius, which is Leo's polarity, that deconstructing a lot of ego-based systems, right? The Mercury retrograde in Leo is a return to the authentic voice, right? Sirius solar codes is going to be integrating within the heart chakra, elevating the personal to divine, right? Because, I love to say life don't always give a fuck about our feelings. The cosmos don't care what you hope for. These cycles and these things are going to happen. Just like if we take a look back and we look at the prior Leo new moons dealing with the dog days of summer and how these things will begin to happen after the Leo new moon or the Leo energy begins to come into play. You see in 2020, this is where COVID came into play. All right. This is when a lot of pandemic suppression of the voice, redefining of values and all that good shit on a collective shift, Leo things muted survival expression, right? So it's like a lot of people got locked and went right back into survival after they felt a creative spark. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of businesses that had just started got shut down. Women were leading the surge in new businesses and entrepreneurship. A lot of even the hand-to-hand businesses got shut down. The beauty shops, the beauty salons, a lot of natural services that were highly of a cultural thing got disrupted. Now you bring in 2022, Uranus in the North Node dealing with Taurus, disruption of physical stability. You watched a lot of heart center businesses, even dealing with some remainings or some reimaginings of the heart center businesses about what you wanted to do and how you wanted to do it. Now, dealing with the August energy of 2023, this Sirius activation, Venus retrograde in Leo, it was a rebirth in relationships and creative identity. You watched a lot of people go through breakups over this past year. You watch a lot of people start to come out, even about their own lovers or their aspect of what they loved. So you watch a lot of people start to express themselves out the last year, around August, and then coming up into now. You're going to see all this energy in opposition with the Sirius activation. So this is going to be a lot of new sovereign blueprints, right? It's a rise of the heart-based innovators and spiritual leaders. So doing things because your heart is in it, right? Speaking because that's what you want to do, right? It's how a lot of people starting to tap into being what do we call those creatives and all this type of shit, the word that's being born now. How a lot of people are coming into their own sense of being their own creators, even on social media, right? All these different attributes and aspects that are popping up for people to get paid just for showing up and being you. It ain't even a lot you got to do right now. Look at the content creators that are happening right now and the live streaming that is going on. Right? They ain't doing nothing but talking about their everyday life and just sitting there streaming it. you know. And a lot of people doing a lot of shit for attention, of course, because people are starting to realize how much social media can make them feel like they're seen and heard. And so you got to be very mindful of how you feed the crowd right now, because the crowd will turn on you the moment they don't like your content. Right? So dealing with these key planetary transits around this time, because the sun and moon and Leo is going to start a new cycle of visibility, power, and creative influence. Sirius alignment still active is deeper ancestral memory reactivation. The Pluto opposition is going to be collective versus individual sovereignty and tension. A lot of people's individuality is going to be threatened. I just love to say it's time to go from being selfish to being selfless. But that's a struggle for people who are still learning how to be selfish after coming from a life of sacrifice. All right, sacrificing yourself, saying yes with your lips and no with your heart. All right, and honoring the matters of other people versus honoring what you want to do. So this Venus in Virgo is going to support a lot of discernment and love and creativity and detoxifying performative ass relationships. A lot of people in relationships because it look good for social media right now. Just think about it. A lot of people are coming together and now, everybody want to be a power couple and we this and we that. It's a lot of false ad narratives being played out. And then before you know it, like SpongeBob on their cartoon, 4 months later, 2 years later, you know what I'm saying? That shit is just fizzled the fuck out. Fire energy. Coming into some shit with no clear understanding, just doing the shit anyway, right? And it's gonna lead to some type of feeling of burnout. So the sun retrograde in Pisces, even with the Chiron in Aries, healing wounded identities and the inability to take initiative to get some shit started. Saturn retrograde in Pisces, dissolving false structures and God-given authority. Right, spiritual leadership is undergoing trial. You watching a lot of this with a lot of people that call themselves spiritual leaders. I disassociated myself with the spiritual community a long time ago, because there's a lot of fake motherfuckers in there and they call themselves spiritual. Right? Just real shit. And for somebody like me, this is something I'm devoted to. This is my work. I don't do anything else. That's a lot. It's not by choice. I'm gonna tell you, it's by circumstance. But I wake up every day to live this life of devotion, and that means that I'm willing to understand and embrace the fact that people will benefit more from what I do than I probably ever will on a mundane level. All right. Now, when you're dealing with Mercury retrograde and Leo, it brings a reexamination on how we speak and write and lead and tell our story. You know, a lot of people telling their story from a false sense of who they are, which is going to be a trauma-based narrative, right? This is where this can come into a form of manipulation. It's one of the main reasons I don't talk about a lot of shit that I've been through to use it as a place to connect with people. I just use it as an aspect of retrospection, right? Being able to, look back on some things and help people understand that I'm human too. All right. Now, this retrograde is a spiritual initiation. All these retrogrades that's happening, Mercury, Neptune, Saturn, Pluto, like all these things are happening because this is a spiritual initiation. And all these things are going to force people to move from a level of more authenticity and instead of performance-based narratives. So revisiting creative projects that were abandoned, you might be resurrecting some things that you probably started, but now you feel like you want to finish it. Public speaking fears could be surfacing for people. Miscommunication around confidence, ego, or leadership. I'm gonna tell you, I've dealt with this because boy, when I speak, a lot of people think I'm speaking from ego or I'm speaking from a place of cockiness or I can't be redefined or redirected or I don't take criticism well. No, I don't take deflection well. I don't adhere to somebody trying to tell me who I am when I've owned every part of myself, even the fucked up parts of myself. I'm unapologetic and I'm unashamed about me and how I feel in the matters of my own heart. That's what keeps me fortified, and also what allows me to be an individual. People to get caught up in how you speak and how you show up, versus what you're actually showing up as, and this can make people miss the presence of you, and that's why most people don't realize what they had until it's gone. Right? So, and the need to rewrite the story of your inner child. Now, when you haven't done that, a lot of times what people are saying about you could be very well true now. But when you know you're not living from a trauma-based narrative and you're not holding on to certain things anymore, people will deflect a lot of shit onto you because they can view you as too confident, too fucking, too fucking full of yourself. What the fuck do that mean? Now, there's a thin line between somebody being a tyrant and a leader, all right? Because when you're a tyrant, you're forcing people into looking at things your way. I'm not here to force, right? I'm not here to speak truth, as I've said before. I'm just here to give you a different perspective on how to look at it. That's it. Opening your mind up to it. So, for example, like a singer who lost confidence years ago, right? This could be like what can be playing out. They're even like rediscovers their voice right now by journaling through old wounds and releasing shame through performance and art. Now, use of the retrograde is going to be a healing or heal stage fright, fear of being seen, rework or launching branding, right? So you can rebrand yourself right now, right? So you can also reconnect with the talent stuff that you have that could be buried. A lot of things that people do for, I would say, for hobbies, or probably the things you probably been wanting to do with your whole life. But survival came into play, right? That ain't gonna get me paid. The instant gratification, right? Instead of doing it because your heart is in it and the money gonna come. See, that's one of the major flips that is happening right now, right? Remember, in this construct, we've been taught that you have to do something in order to prove that you are somebody, and then that will entail bringing in what you want, right? So you got to do all this, perform, and lie and show up and smile when you're hurting, and do all this old shit for people. The job still got to get done, and it's just doing, 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 and never learning how to truly be. And that shit can lead to burnout. That shit can lead to a lot of bitterness. People are running around tired, heart is heavy, right? Because shit, living like this is damn near, that's borderline, it's just frustration, which is borderline depression. I've been there. All right. So when you begin to just be you, everything you do is a consequence of you just being you. That means you doing it because you love it. That entail would draw in everything that your heart desires. Versus feeling like you got to work so hard to achieve it. This is the narrative that is flipping. The cosmos is flipping it. This ain't me making this shit up. If you pay attention to what people are going through and the feelings that people are having, just to simplify that, if it's not fulfilling, the job, the relationship, whatever the fuck you're doing, if it's no longer fulfilling, if it's not making you feel good in the heart, if it's not bringing a sense of relief or a sense of freedom, right? This shit feels like work. Everything can feel like a drag right now to people who are living in that dynamic. If everything you doing is a drag, yeah, this new moon finna plant some seeds in your ass for you to let all that shit go and be honest and authentic about what you want to do with your life. And a lot of time when people move about this, the money don't even matter. You ever been in a position in your life where you didn't give a damn how much money was on the table? You didn't give a damn who was there, who was, I just don't want to do it. I don't give a fuck. It's just not in alignment with who I am. That is a strong willpower to have in a reality like this, where a lot of people can be bought. A lot of people do shit for clout. A lot of people doing shit for likes. You get what I'm saying? For attention and validation. So the futuristic self, right? The brilliant energy that's electrifying communication, art and love and consciousness, that's going to bring a lot of quantum creativity, mental liberation, and innovative expression. The Uranus and Gemini is gonna bring tech revolutions, AI integration, new media language. Just pay attention to what's going on. You'll see how this is happening. Now, in personal life challenges, it is you to upgrade your beliefs, learning styles, and relationships with words and data. Ooh, man. That shit right there is challenging for a lot of people because you don't identify with everything that you don't fucking gather. This is creating cognitive dissonance. You could present the truth in front of a motherfucker, they can know it, they can say, I don't care. I'm gonna stick to what I know. I'm gonna stick to what I've been taught because I don't like the way you saying it. I don't like the way it feels, and it don't stop the shit from being real. So your creativity gets a genius spark, a level, a genius level spark, especially when you allowed yourself to break that limiting mindset. Your genius sometimes will come online as a natural consequence. So sudden breakthroughs in how to present yourself, sell your message, or broadcast your art. A visual artist discovers a real life example. A visual artist discovers a new form of AI, collaborative storytelling, and launches a Leo inspired digital series that embodies authenticity. Man, that sounds like a lot of shit, but let's just imagine that you're using AI and AI is not using you. And you're able to use AI to help you paint a story, to paint a picture. And now this digital aspects of what you create is actually going to help people understand or see things a lot clearer. All right. So that Uranus and Gemini want to make shit make sense and get rid of all the bullshit that don't. Just how that shit is really on a simple level, how it's going to play out. Neptune and Saturn retrograde in Pisces, the dissolution of illusions is what this is about. Now, Neptune and Aries is like that's kind of fresh, that's retrograde. It squares the new moon slightly, right? It's going to be a RX at 17 degrees Pisces. That kind of co anchors the deep spiritual work behind the scenes. All right. A lot of people ain't trying to be seen right now, but it's like, are you putting in the work, the groundwork? Have you initiated it? Are you trusting that everything is happening? Even though it might not be happening the way you want it to, how you want it to, when you want it to, or the way you want it to feel. It doesn't mean that it's not happening. So shedding those illusions of false confidence and performative ass leadership, because a lot of people ain't who they supposed to be. Post, right? So a lot of people ain't who they supposed to be, and a lot of times people will experience certain things in life that would challenge to see it was you who the fuck you say you are, right? Or you walking it like you motherfucking talking, right? So rebuilding soul-based boundaries, boundaries that are in alignment with the narrative of you being able, you're here for a short time, not a long time, right? So when you set boundaries from a place of knowing that one day you ain't gonna be here, one day this energy that you're experiencing is not going to be present for you, like yeah, it can open up a lot of different aspects and turning you into the higher self, or us tuning into the higher self versus the ego self. Now, Pluto and Aquarius retrograde, the polarity pool. This opposition is the Leo new moon, and it's a powerful axis about Leo personal radiance and also Aquarius, the collective evolution. Now, this is going to manifest itself more as we move into the Aquarius full moon, which will be coming up in the next few weeks here. So, Pluto's presence ensures that Leo rebirth, this won't be superficial. It must serve the collective, right? Or die to ego, right? So being able to serve the collective, everything ain't about you right now. All right. Now, this is a grand sextile that is happening. So this is going to be a Stargate activation, right? This is evolutionary growth, alchemical integration, divine timing, higher purpose, structure meets freedom, right? This is inner engineering. The internal self needs a shift, right? This is sovereign creativity. This is also what a grand sextile is, a rare harmonious configuration where six or more planets form a six-pointed star. All right, this is where your six-pointed star breaking the hex, right? Because the hexagram is more of a five-pointed star, but when you deal with the turning the the pentagram, I mean, you turn the pentagram upside down, you get a star at the top, which creates a hexagram, and that's what you see right here. All right. So that hexagram energy is what's being configured into the cosmos. This is sacred geometry. This is the integration between elements and dimensions because sextiles are 60-degree angles supported by grand trines that are 120-degree angles. This creates a portal of ease, flow, and sacred geometry. So there is the integration between all these elements. Leo, the moon, Leo, Uranus, and Gemini, Saturn retrograde in Aries, Neptune retrograde in Aries, Pluto retrograde in Aquarius is creating this grand sextile of fire and earth, right? This is what you're seeing. Emphasizing visionary inspiration with structured innovation, spiritual refinement, and bold leadership. You put earth with fire, baby, you can fan your own motherfucking flame right now. All right. So you can watch a lot of people loud and wrong, right? But they loud. They having the courage to say some shit, no matter how wrong they might be. They saying it with their chest, right? So why are you judging it? If you got something to say it with your motherfucking chest too. You ain't got to worry about how somebody else doing what they doing. There's a thin line between jealousy and adoration. A lot of times we get jealous of people or we don't like people because there's something inspiring about that person. When you don't know what that feels like, it can come out as jealousy. That's another Leo thing too. Now, when you're dealing with this, the radical creativity, the nervous system awakening, this is also going to deal with divine expression, the Leo lightning bolt, right? The theme, the lightning bolt incites insight meets the heart-centered courage with the Leo energy. Uranus and Gemini awakens new language, mindsets, and unexpected breakthroughs, manifestations, unexpected calls to speak, teach, or lead. And you might get a lot of invitations in this area if you've been thinking about it. And then somebody like, well, come on, I want you to speak over here. Like, whoa, 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 I want ready, I want ready. Hey, can you come over here and teach? Wait a minute, I don't even know if I know what I'm talking about. Hey, I need you to take leadership at work. I need you to step up. It's already been who you are. Do you got the courage to take that role to do this shit anyway? You know, I was having a conversation with one of the beloveds, and she is a Leo moon. She was like, I don't like people calling me teacher. People calling. I don't like being called certain things either. But when everybody telling you about a horse, you might well get you a goddamn saddle now. All right. If everybody's saying that they're learning from you by calling you a teacher, if everybody's saying that they love to hear you speak and they're calling you a speaker, if everybody's saying they want to turn to you for a sense of what to do next, they're accepting parts of you that you might not be fully ready to embody. Embodying it doesn't mean you have to let it go to your head. Let it go to your heart. Right? This is being able, I love to say, take the criticism with the love. They both can be of equal value when you know who the fuck you are. All right. So downloads of innovative ideas that need expression, the nervous system recalibration through courage and performance. Because a lot of times you got to do it when you're nervous as fuck. Anybody that's ever been on stage and think about you got those butterflies and shit in your stomach or whatever, and then you start to do it, and before you know it, that shit goes away. And it's like, man, when I got settled in, I started, you know. So even with dancing, see, all this shit can happen if you just do it with some courage, right? So one of the highest uses of this energy is speak from the soul, allow downloads to become dialogue, right? That's an Aquarius trait, right? Being able to trust the channeling. Aquarius rules channeling. Leo is how you express it. So trust the divine timing over perfectionism. It ain't got to be perfect, right? Over time, I can perfect it, right? So you might not have it all figured out when you first started, but goddamn it, as you begin to do it, you're gonna get better at it if you present for the experience and you willing to refine some shit, fine tweak some shit. All right. So the sun sextile Uranus and Gemini is gonna bring a lot of freedom through truth, right? I love to say the truth don't set you free, it makes you free. Cause when you have to say the truth to get you free, that means you lied or you allowed yourself to be subjected to a lie along the way. And now only the truth can change the narrative of what you're experiencing. Well, that is always something you can live by and not try to hide. This can kill vulnerability and replace it with authenticity and transparency, because that's gonna lead to an expression of you. Yeah, you might have said it, and now people know who you are. Now the mask is off. Now you can't lie no more. It can feel like you done got caught, but who the fuck can check you? We all out here human. If you ain't done shit that can get you locked up, Saturn retrograde in Aries, and you just locking yourself up in your own mind, giving people the gavel. These motherfuckers ain't your judge, jury, and executioners, you know. So people out here they ain't perfect. Motherfuckers ain't perfect out here. So why are you running from your imperfections? So this aspects make you magnetically attractive when aligned with authenticity. It's just natural, right? So breaks in montonomy. That's gonna be, anything that's becoming montonymous. It's a drag. So it shakes up rigid self concepts, all that shit that is keeping you rigid, right? And like not allowing you to embrace evolving. Somebody that doesn't mind evolving, I don't mind changing my mind. For a lot of people, that can seem like I'm rigid because it's like you still stuck in the narrative and I'm gone from that. Like now you want me to slow down, feel good because you still stuck over here. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. A lot of people are unwilling to change. A lot of people have become so used to trauma that they unwilling to not live by trauma-based ass narratives no more. And they want you to always adhere to this is where I'm at. And, it just cause you there don't mean you gotta treat everybody else the same. Man, fuck you and your narrative and your motherfucking feelings. See, this Leo coming through me. My Jupiter has a lot to do with that shit. But when you understand that people will keep you caring, people will keep you sensitive, people will keep you down. You the eagle, you want to fly. And here go the pigeon saying, wait a minute, we want worms. Motherfucker, I want to fish out the ocean, right? You know how eagle, I might want to go pick up me something you can't carry, Mr. Pigeon. You know what I'm saying? So brings the genius to insight on how to live and love and lead differently. Because a lot of time people think that you leading with love is you doing something that requires that you care so much about where they are. Leading with love, sometimes, getting you to see some shit differently and having to shake your ass up can prove that I love you. You want a friend that's gonna cheerlead you when you're in your bullshit, or you want a friend that's gonna say, "Nah, you tripping, and I'm not finna keep dealing with you while you in that stage." Most Leo people would check your ass while you going through that shit, cause they gonna let you know I care too much. And this can be somebody having to understand that your actions are affecting other people, right? You get so caught up in thinking and feeling and shit to where you're not even honoring that your thoughts and your emotions are affecting somebody else. So that is one of the most powerful things you can accept when it comes to the matters of the heart, and also love and leading with that. That's why a leader will always eat last. A leader is here to help the people see their own way out, not to show you that this is the way I'm going, right? So being able to help people to show people what the fuck it looks like to just be the sovereign self and to know that as a leader, I got to realize that sometimes everything is not always about me. Even as a leader, I might be having to willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do. And as a leader, don't ever ask somebody to do some shit that you're not willing to do. That's not a leader, that's a manipulator. All right. So suddenly seeing how, and one of the main things about a leader is being a team player, of course, but it's knowing when to take the lead. Right. I love to say that Leo energy is like knowing when to say, I gotta scratch the whole plate. Right. I've been passing the ball, and now it's all about me. Right. So it's like when the final seconds are on the clock. You get what I'm saying? It ain't nobody else and everybody else looking at you like, is you gonna say scratch the whole plate? Just get me the goddamn ball. Win, lose, or draw, I'm taking the last motherfucking shot. At some point in life, we have to do that from a place of willingness and not allowing survival mode to force us there. After you done already gave away your power, waiting on other people to show up for you, waiting on somebody to come through for you. Now you sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's a you thing. All right. So when you talking about suddenly seeing how to rewrite your life story, not from wounds, but from wisdom, it's a powerful shift that can happen because it can help renew you. So disrupting old constructs, rebuilding the inner authority. Saturn and Aries retrograde reviews past impulsive to aggression patterns. Uranus shows the way forward is with strategic thinking and mental breakthroughs. This is the architect meets the visionary combo. So review your plans with futuristic insight. Let go of what restricts your mental and energetic freedom. And a lot of times you might be thinking about resources and shit, Saturn. You might be thinking about this is something that you've never done before, Neptune, and you're gonna have to do it any motherfucking way. All right. Saturn, sextile, and Pluto, cause the Pluto energy gonna force you into a narrative where you've been saying you don't like the job, you've been saying you don't like this thing, you saying you tired of this, right? That Pluto energy just lurking and saying, all right, if you tired of it, then why you instead of showing up for it? If you tired of it, why you instead of saying yes with your lips and no with your heart? So you being tired of something and not knowing when to walk away, not knowing when to put your foot down, not knowing when to set healthy boundaries, that is completely a you thing. So a lot of these things are going to deal with power and discipline, systematic renewal. You're going to see a lot of systems being renewed, our chemical resilience, right? Going against the chemical reactions of shit. This is going to be going against even chemical based, I would say, addictions. All right. This can also deal with a transformational gateway to burn the dead rules and author a new code. Great for redesigning life, business, soul systems, detaching from the patriarchal and the oppressive structure. That shit is all mental. I tell people patriarchy exists in the hearts and the minds of people. People to say, well, goddamn, look at everything that's set up. It's a lot of people that thrive regardless of what the fuck the system has designed to oppress them. A lot of times the oppressed have become the oppressors. And we oppress ourselves by holding on to certain narratives that the white man fucking over me, doing all this other kind of shit instead of finding your own power. So grounding your inner revolution. right? Because the revolution will be televised, goddamn me, with this energy here. Now, you restructure your schedule, team, relationship patterns, reflect your values, not on your conditioning, right? Because a lot of time people are conditioned to put up with shit, to accept shit, to say this is just the way it's gonna go. You're taking away your power whenever you fall into a pattern, and this is also not allowing you to recreate karma, create your own karma. Do you want to walk in the same footprints, right? You know, Sadhguru said this about karma. Karma is like you walking in the same footprints and the same pattern, right? Instead of creating a new direction. If you're not experiencing new shit, you're recreating karma. And you can say karma's a bitch, right? Until you break it, you know. So karma is not only based on what you do, it's also based on what you do not do. So being willing to take a new path, being willing to be that visionary, rewiring, even when you dream reinvention, you gotta might have to dream again. A lot of people lost the power of dreaming. You're gonna got so caught up in being serious about life, you lost the power of using your imagination. So Neptune and Aries is gonna dissolve a lot of those old illusions of the self. Uranus is gonna reactivate the electric body. This is a quantum healing, right? It takes mixed spirit type shit. This is why a lot of people starting to use Chat GPT as they goddamn counselor. Tell me when I'm lying. A lot of people going to Chat GPT, and now Chat GPT is becoming your counselor, putting shit in there about how you feel. And well, this is why you feel the way you feel, right? A lot of people are starting to use these things. Don't I'm just saying, don't let it become a crush because there's nothing artificial about intelligence. The more you integrate with it, you make the shit intelligent, right? All it's doing is giving you new words for the narrative that you put in. That's all this shit does. That's all it does. But if you don't know what you're talking about, you put something in Chat GPT, you think it kicks you out something profound as a motherfucker. All it did was open your mind up to a different perspective of the shit that you're feeling. So if you need Chat GPT to do that, keep download that motherfucker, pay $20 a month for that motherfucker, do whatever you gotta do because it's helping you renewing your mind and breaking old illusions of yourself. That's all it's doing. All right. Just telling you how it's playing out. Now, meditation and breath work and binaural beats, that can help you with the timeline jump because that becomes internal work with the meditation, the breath work, and also listen to binaural beats because sound can recode the system just by the sound of it. This also has a lot to do with mantras and chants and all that kind of stuff. Words create worlds, all right? So the spiritual death and the rebirth of the mystic tech, soul coded activations, right? This is clearing ancestral karmic illusions, Neptune, to awaken transpersonal power, Pluto, because your person has to go through a transformation. And when the person goes through a transformation, their persona, and you no longer identify with false illusions, your power comes online as a natural consequence. Everything in this reality is consequential. We call it karma. You make a choice, consequences come behind that. You don't make a choice, consequences come behind that. This supports psychic surgery, subconscious detoxing, and releasing spiritual gaslighting patterns. Let me tell you something. People think gaslighting happens from an outside narrative. Once you adopt those outside narratives, the gaslighting is internal. I listen to a lot of people who done gaslit themselves into something that they are fucking not. You watch a lot of people in the spiritual community start calling themselves Oya and Isis and Oshun and this, that, this. And then when that shit start happening in your life for you to embody it, spirit testing me. Now you testing your motherfucking self by taking on all these narratives of shit that already existed. How you gonna say that you are archetype that everybody's worshiping and praising and people are feeding these deities? These are deities. People are deifying themselves based off of old narratives of something that they fucking read. Now you think you ISIS. Now you think you all sick. I'm just saying. Hey, I don't have a lot of people that, and you know I'm all sick reincarnated. What the fuck? Do you know every part of your femininity is all set reincarnated? Do you know you cannot have a body without the essence of every feminine goddamn deity that you ever thought of, and you won't identify with one? So that this is psychic surgery now. So I'm just telling you, even on spiritual level, the same thing. How people still identify with Jesus and everything else, but your own bullshit. Then when when something happens to you. You say it's the devil, or you say somebody hexing you and you spiritual, you still don't understand the power of your own sovereign being. If you truly are of God and you truly know that God got you, how you gonna believe in a weapon formed against you prospering? See, if you say that the ancestors got your back and you all spiritual and you a goddess or you a god, how are you still succumbing to suppression and oppression? Oh, because I'm human. Well, hold, now you want to be human. You know, motherfuckers show claim shit when it's convenient. I'm just telling you. Same thing they do with God. When that shit convenient, you done caught them. Me and one of my little bros was just talking about this. You know, one of our partners, he started, everybody figured out this nigga was into pedophilia and molestation, and all of a sudden motherfuckers started talking about God know my heart. You know how many people look at P. Diddy? These niggas sure start claiming God when it's convenient, boy. Jesus and shit. Cause now you get something that's gonna make you you know what, let's you gotta give him grace. You got, man, say, if you don't learn how to call a snake, you gonna always be that motherfucker who get bit by one. I guarantee you. Now, the heart and the spirit has to be, wants to move in sacred harmony. That's the sun trine Neptune. This is excellent for visionary leadership, performing arts, devotion, and high frequency creative downloads, dream portals. All right, a lot of people dreams could become more prophetic, could have become more visionary. You could be dreaming a lot more than you probably have over these past few months. Now you may receive clarity on the sacred mission you've been doubting. All right, so a lot of clarity could just drop into your lap about something you've been wanting to do, but talking about how you're gonna do it. Now the clarity comes in about what direction to move, who to go talk to, the things you need to do to make this happen. So the courage in Leo meets commitment, Saturn, energy of the spiritual adult. Right, this is confident, masterful, and disciplined. A lot of discipline is going to be needed right now, so you won't keep going into the matters of your own fleshly desires per se. All right, this is perfect for making long-term credit decisions that serve a purpose. So imagine signing contracts or creating a legacy offering aligned with your soul's work, and it's like you never thought that this shit would happen, but for some type of reason now you like, damn, this is what I've been always wanting to do, and it's like preparation has met opportunity. The moon trine Saturn is going to bring emotional maturity. This means grounded realism. This is also a good for setting boundaries, even from love instead of fear, right? Idea for reparenting rituals or healing father wounds, I would say, right? So this is a place to embody, even creating safety for your inner child, while making real world changes. All right, Uranus trine Pluto, breakthroughs in power and technology, mass awakenings, right? This is gonna be a mass awakening here. And you witnessing this. This is playing out on so many levels. This is not our first awakening in humanity, but this the first one that's happening on a mass level. All right, the way it is. It's like, I love to say, it's like if you look at that meme of the dude had a mop and he was on the ocean, or an ant trying to stop a they can't stop the shit that's coming. Even this mass awakening is gonna force people to wake their ass up. So it's not longer being waking up with a whisper, right? You gonna be getting some shit that's gonna be like, I knew I wasn't tripping. This can lead to a feeling of information download for people, all right, or information burnout. Tired of hearing shit, tired of learning shit, wanting to put some shit down. Because I would love to say it's time to put everything down and pick you up. All right. So interdimensional doorways. It's like ESP, even a dream in the astral realms. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this is gonna come with a lot of even the rapid eye movements, REM sleep. Your sleep cycles could be changing. You discover an ancestral ability or tech download through dreams or light work, right? You get an epiphany, you get an idea to do something that you never thought about doing, or to go about it in a different way. And you probably already was doing it a certain way. This is the pressure valve with the shadow Pluto opposite the sun and moon. The pressure valve in the configuration, because it's a necessary ego death, but it can be uncomfortable. All right, because this is gonna bring a lot of power struggles, facing the truth about who you are when nobody's watching, right? Because everywhere you go, you are who you are, player. You understand? So identity crisis in preparation for soul rebirth. A lot of people, it's time to stop being, it's that imposter syndrome shit. Yeah, faking it till you make it ass shit. Talking about shit that you ain't really lived. That shit equates to lying. All right. So manipulation, projection, control games, fear of being seen or destroyed by change. You gotta watch for people who are doing this type of shit, right? because these people are running from change. So transmute that energy if it's you through shadow journaling, therapy, burning old roles, right? It's like doing that shit ritually, and a lot of this nervous system activation, because fire, Leo and Aries are going to deal with the solar plex, the heart, and the adrenals. It has a lot to do with your cortisol levels and also your fight or flight energy. This has also to do with breath work. You can do some sunbathing, some confidence mantras. The air in Gemini and Aquarius is your lungs and your nervous system. So nostril breathing, through journaling, and also using journaling or even light language. Like, light language, people just like speaking in tongues and shit. But when you understand light language, a lot of times it might not just be in the aspect of you saying something that like you don't take. I'll be hearing people say all kind of shit. Sometimes you can speak some words that are natural English that are coming from the core of your soul, and you have no logical explanation of where they coming from. That is channeling. That is light language too. So don't let these people make you think that light language is something that you're not supposed to be able to understand, right? And they're going to talking like, "Oh, they the Palladians." Ain't got nothing to do with me. But anyway, now when you talking about the Earth and Saturn, bone structure, even dealing with the lower chakras or the bones, the structure, even grounding in nature, strength training. All right, water and Neptune is gonna bring in the pineal gland, dream, subconscious, meditations, ritual baths, and sound healing can help out with that. The pineal gland gonna have a lot to do with these downloads, has a lot to do with the third eye and also the crown chakra, which is gonna be like a lot of mental chatter. So if you're not able to harness or slow down your reactions to thoughts, because you can't slow the mind down. Only thing you can do is create a little separation through meditation from you, your thoughts, and your emotions. Because, like I said earlier, they're yours, but they're not you. So write and record your visions. Mercury retrograde is gonna support that. I gotta say this real quick, man, because people be saying a lot of shit in this Western construct about Mercury retrograde. Don't do this, don't do that. Mercury is in retrograde 6 months out of the year. I've said this before. That don't mean I'm not saying that you could be experiencing shit to where Mercury feels like it's fucking with you. All these planets have an influence on our life. I don't give a damn if you believe in them or not. Mercury is always giving you an opportunity to slow shit down. That's it. Don't make compulsive decisions. Read the contract. Ask the right questions. That don't mean you just get stuck in stagnation and you sit still for 6 goddamn months now. So Mercury in a retrograde is always gonna deal with the throat chakra in your right brain every time. Mercury rules the way you speak and the way you listen. You put that with the sign that is with, now you get the influence of the retrograde. A redo, a relook into what? Leo, creativity, matters of the heart, lovers. Are you compulsive with the matters of your heart? Are you giving away your love, hoping somebody see you? Are you being all dramatic and shit, right? The fights and shit that can break out in relationships, right? Because a lot of people don't feel like they're in a good relationship unless you fucking and fighting. That's some that's some fire sign shit for sure. Right? It's also scorpionic, but your Scorpio is ruled by Mars, which rules Aries. All right. So a lot of people don't feel loved until they feel like somebody hurt somebody about them. A lot of people are so used to being loved to death to where somebody trying to love you to life, that shit don't feel right. Somebody coming and they not trying to be possessive, not trying to control you, not saying you need to validate them or they trying to validate you. And it's like this shit don't feel good. I don't like the way it feel. I don't know if you really like me. I don't know if you really feel the way. You know what? That's all the drama in your own fucking thoughts and emotions. Take the courage, but intuitive action, right? So letting go of old mask. So why are you walking around with old masks and the first thing that comes out, what somebody else I used to talk to used to do this same thing. So why you comparing me to another motherfucker when that's something you need to be sitting with? Are you trying to tell somebody that they showing up acting like an old lover or ex? That's something you need to be examining. Why am I experiencing a repeat? Can I say no to some shit? Can I ask the right questions? Can I be honest and say, you know what? My insecurities is being triggered here. Let me take a moment to sit with my own shit, right? But people love to deflect out here, okay? So collaborating or building with others who match your soul frequency. Because shit, man. A lot of times people won't value you, right? Until you're talking about they match you. This is an equally yoked type shit, right? Because a lot of time matching your soul frequency with other people, that can require a lot of selfless being. Everything ain't about you. When you drop the ego, the soul comes online. All right. Now, when you're dealing with what to avoid, overwhelmed due to options. So, too many options, too much shit to do, too much shit to think about, right? Egoic reactivity. It's like reacting to shit from a place of being ego sensitive, over intellectualizing insight, right? Uranus, Gemini, instead of integrating it somatically. A lot of the shit you can't think your way into integrating. You gotta feel this shit. That comes with a lot of our pain, a lot of our insecurities, a lot of our things that we done been through in our life. Knowing is just half the battle. That's Aquarius shit. Just cause you know it, have you embodied it, right? Or is it just regurgitating shit? Because if it's just regurgitating shit, you could be repeating shit and not knowing why you're repeating it, you know? So some journal prompts for you to tap into what outdated beliefs. Y'all know I love to give journal prompts to help you take a deeper introspection into why you're dealing with the shit that you are dealing with. Of course, what outdated beliefs and structures. So you can look over those. You can screenshot those if you like. I'll give you a moment to do so. All right. Now the affirmation that can that can align with this as well. You can screenshot those affirmations as well. All right. For those of you who are not going to purchase the PDF, remember if you want to purchase this PDF, it's going to be $22. If you want to get the full transits personal breakdown, it will be 99, and that will come with the PDF. All right. I put my cash app in the chat for those of you who are just joining because I can't see people joining in. But my cash app is Sensei $9, right? Or $Sensei 9. All right. Now, this Leo retrograde in Uranus dealing with somatic and electrical analysis, because electric analysis, the somatic healing, the breath work, the things that's going to require these activation of the chakras. All right, because the Leo deals with the solar plexus and the heart chakra activation. So it's going to be a reset of personal identity, courage, and emotional sovereignty. This is initiating a new cycle in nervous system related to confidence, boldness, and self-expression. Mercury governs the nervous system, speech, and sensory processing. Retrograde in Leo, returning to your true voice, but can temporarily dysregulate speech, concentration, and decision making. So it can affect you in these ways. All right. But now your nervous system can feel overreactive, impulsive, and anxious, and unless you're grounded. So ground yourself if you're feeling any of this. All right. Get outside, get in nature, take some deep breath, do some breath work, do some somatic work. You can't think your way into calming down your nervous system. All you're gonna do is jack your shit up worse. You gotta embrace feeling. You gotta allow some shit to move. That's why they're called emotions. Something has to emote. All right. You won't get from impulsiveness to groundedness without something moving. You won't move from anxiousness to calmness without emotion. You won't get from stagnation and frustration to peace and tranquility without emotion. Something has to move. All right. And when you move the emotions, you're moving the chemicals, and you can do that through breath, right? As Gemini governs the lungs, the arms, the hands, and the central nervous system, Uranus accelerates neural rewiring, introducing shocks, downloads, and overstimulation. Nervous system is especially sensitive to technology, frequency shifts, and EMFs, and excessive mental stimulation. So be mindful of the mental stimulation, especially with because this a lot of mental illness is going to be coming up for a lot of people with this. A lot of people not realizing how overly stimulated they are. But this time is going to show you because your body's going to start responding and reacting. So Saturn governs structure and bones, and Pisces rules the feet and the lymphatic system. All right. So your lymphatic system, the bones, your circulation, right? All these things could be taking a hit. That's going to be dealing with your immune system, and also it can feel like your bones are getting. This is plasma and all type of stuff that can be affected here. So dissolves ego and inflates psychic input, leading to distortion, dreaminess, and also emotional flooding. Don't drown in the sea of your emotions right now. All right. Allow yourself to feel some shit, but don't get so corrupted by them to where you lose yourself in it. So somatic confusion or detachment from the body may occur. This can feel like a lot of disembodiment or dysregulation. So when you're dealing with this energy, just kind of do the Leo's fire, uranium, mental hyperactivity, restlessness, insomnia, difficulty staying focused, feelings of inadequacy or spotlight pressure, sensory overload, especially from tech or crowds. If you're feeling any of this, just put a one in the chat if all of this is resonating with you. Because of course I got keys here for you to kind of help dissolve or move this energy, right? The parasympathetic dysregulation due to Pisces, Neptune, potential escapism or numbing, all right? Feeling emotionally underwater or disconnected from the self, longing for spiritual meaning, but feeling foggy, brain fog and shit, all right? So, the solar plexus taking a hit. Self-worth, confidence, symptoms, power struggle, digestive system tension, shame or overcompensation, breath work, laughter, therapy, right? All those can help you. The heart, emotional authenticity, receiving love, chest tightness, grief, difficulty connecting, open-hearted movement, inner child work, rose oil can also help you. The throat chakra integration, Mercury retrograde in Leo, voice expression and listening, active listening, listening with both ears. And a lot of people, man, because a lot of people just react because you listening from one side of your damn brain. Can't even get a thought out. Can't even let somebody finish. This is imbalanced throat chakra. Anybody that's taking my Reiki class right now, because I do teach Reiki. For those of you who might not know, and I have a Reiki class going right now. We about to end it out, but it's still available for people who want to purchase it. But understanding that the imbalanced throat chakra, a lot of people have because a lot of people don't know when to shut the fuck up. You got two ears and one mouth for a reason. So the more people are reacting versus responding, so singing, chanting, journaling the truth can help you out with this. Now, even dealing with the third eye, Uranus and Gemini, third eye activations, nervous system, dream state, visions, headaches, overthinking, burnout. If you're experiencing all that, your third eye is trying to be activated. Meditation, limit your screen time and do some grounding. All right. The root chakra activity, Saturn and Pisces, embodiment through physical security, right? Because a lot of people are looking for physical security. And it's got a lot of people been going through a lot of financial issues, and you feel like you got to have a certain thing in order for you to begin to create, in order for you to begin to do what you want to do, or you feel like you can't do the shit that you want to do in your life because you're not safe and you're not secure. This is all dealing with the physical body and the aspects of the dissolution or the disassociation and escapism. This is also adrenal fatigue. So barefoot grounding, red foods and salt baths, right? Epsom salt, all that good shit. So the embodiment of these practices that can help you regulate this. This is something you can do for the solar plexus, the breath work, core strengthening. My presence is powerful. Something you can do for the throat chakra. All right, all that good stuff. These are things how you can help regulate these nervous systems along the way. And once again, you can screenshot those. I'm just giving a lot of y'all some of this because you know you might not get the PDF. All right, but I want to make sure that you are able to at least take some of these practices with you. All right. So once again, you can go through there and screenshot that real quick. Some things you can start to implement and do into your life. This will help you. God damn it, hold on, y'all. I done lost my screenshot here. So hold on. Shit. All right, I'm getting back to it, y'all. Give me 1 second. I don't know what the hell. I just X'd out of that. Let me finish this real quick. All right, here. Hold on. All right, here we go. Let me get back to the sharing. Coming back in with the PDF in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, yeah. So boom. Now dealing with this ESP tapping and all that type of stuff is something you can do. Of course, the Leo centered heart ritual, centering the heart is gonna be powerful right now. Also some practices you can do early in the morning, midday, stimulate your nervous system, your vagus nerve, cold shower, fire breathing, midday. It's kind of how you can go throughout the day if you find the time to do some of this. These tools actually work because I do them. A lot of y'all see me going live. I'm always outside in the middle of the day. Especially like creativity, journaling. I'm always doing some. I'm about to start doing my podcasting, so y'all be on the lookout for that. And evening work, the solar plexus, massage, EFT tapping, no screens, right? Dysregulate from Uranus and Mercury overload, bedtime, heart connections, soft music, 432 hertz, connect with Leo's heart, Neptune's dream field. All right. So even for creatives and performers, reclaiming stage presence through play, not perfection. right? Rework branding of voice to, reflect on soul's mission. Reignite childlike wonder through color, movement, and sound. Entrepreneurs and leaders, lead through storytelling and vulnerability. Reflecting on where the ego may block collaboration. Pluto and Aquarius opposite Leo. I'm gonna be honest with you. I got a Scorpio moon in the house of fucking Aquarius. And one thing I don't play at this point, because I don't collaborate with a lot of people because I don't operate out of ego. And I've been met with they motherfucking egos. I ain't going, especially in the spiritual community. Man, I ain't had this much trouble when I was hustling. You know how easy it is to trap with a nigga because all we doing is getting money. But when you start dealing with this spiritual work and you trying to work with people, collaborate with people, man, they people be judging you and shit, talking about you, not to you and shit. And it's like, I'm just being me. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I be wanting to work with other people and shit, but people not being in a place to be authentic and integral and shit, yeah, having to vet people is real right now. All right, so I am open to a lot of collaborations and shit, but you got to know who the fuck you are, man. I ain't got time to be collaborating with people who gonna end up flipping on me, changing on me, because all I'm doing is being me. That don't mean that I'm perfect. I ain't up here not by the farthest trying to claim some shit like that. But one thing you ain't gotta do is worry about me not fucking with you or not liking you or talking about you and not talking to you. If I got a problem with you, I'm gonna come to you first. Like, so it's just simple shit, y'all. Think about a friend, Leo, right? No, Leo rules friends and fans and shit. Think about how many people your friends that you don't talk to every day. How many friends do you got to where y'all don't go through no tension, nothing? They don't question, they don't trip. Whenever y'all talk, it could be 2 years, 4 years, don't make no difference, but ain't no friction there, right? This person just fucks with you because of who you are, and they understand certain things. We all got people like that in our life, but we be trying to make other people our friend. I'm not finna be 50, I'm 46. I'm not finna be 50 years old, still trying to pick friends and shit. I'm not going through no shit like that. I don't even need no goddamn friends. Cause for some of these motherfuckers as your friends, you don't need no goddamn enemies. You hear me? So good decision and embodiment and intuition, right? That shit is not just enough. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be able to discern some shit, right? And being able to change your mind, and being able to tell somebody, being honest, because what I've learned is authentic conversation and communication leads to transformation, right? Because if you don't ever come to me and tell me some shit and make me aware of it, you're not giving me an opportunity to change. And some people are built on my understanding you. Some people are built on taking whatever somebody else said because they already felt that way about you any motherfucking way. Oh, that's all I need to hear. I knew something went right. You don't even know the motherfucking person. And I'm gonna tell you one of the things I've been telling people. I've been saying this for years. You can't call me talking about nobody. I'm three-weighing them. I'm finna get them on the motherfucking phone. you know. And now we're in an age to where people say if you fuck with them and I don't fuck with them, you don't fuck with me. You know what? Well, stay your motherfucking ass over there then. Cause all that shit want me to be loyal to some shit because you don't like a motherfucker, and this situation could be lucrative to me. It could open up portals for me, but you want to I don't fuck with them. Why you fuck with them? Get your 50 Cent ass on somewhere. 50, he don't need no friends, but you can go on this post and do a bunch of shit. But I don't need no 50 Cent ass motherfuckers around me trying to tell me who to fuck with and who not to fuck with. I don't need that. All right. So for healers, teachers, guides, regulating your nervous system first, right? Model it in others, right? It's a model for others, right? So being authentic, being unapologetic, I'm just modeling what it looks like. I'm not telling you how to be you. I'm not telling you how to do you. And I know some of the shit I say can make people cringe. It can make people look at me different. Somebody might have left this goddamn Zoom, but guess what? The show gonna go on. Somebody gonna leave your life. Somebody not gonna like you. The crowd, you might go out there, they might be throwing tomatoes at your motherfucking ass. You know how many artists would tell you that they performed when it was just one motherfucker in there? They was scared when they did. So being able to take center stage and do it any motherfucking way, yeah, eventually the people that support you, if you stay consistent and you stay diligent and you stay heart centered, the people that's supposed to show up gonna show the fuck up. But we're in a reality where people want to blow up overnight. People want to jump out there and everybody supposed to like you. All right, good luck with that shit. So incorporating sound, breath, and intuitive movement into sessions using tech with discernment, avoid overload from uranium overstimulation, is going to be very powerful right now. Some affirmation you can use, tap into it, speak, of course. These affirmations. A lot of this shit, just to be honest with y'all, I use Chat GPT as a framework, but I go through this shit with a fine tooth comb. And a lot of these things I be done changed up, put my own words in there, all kind of shit. So these affirmations are coming from a part of me. All right. So being able to utilize them can be very helpful. Because these are words that I know create worlds inside of the mental. And it's like planting seeds, baby, during the new moon. Plant the seeds. All you got to do is just let them grow, especially if you're planting them on fertile ground. So this neo new moon is not just a new moon, right? It's a nervous system. It's a new nervous system. Okay. You're learning how to carry voltage without burning out. It's like strengthening your fucking body as an energetic cord. I always give the scenario. Can you take you know how a 220 air conditioner, just say you trying to plug up a generator or anything, but you want to use the cord of a lamp, right? You want to use the cord of your blow dryer, right, to try to blow your heater or some shit. Like something gonna blow the fuck out. You gotta strengthen this body as an energetic cord. You're learning to express radiance without fear. You're invited to regulate your body as an oracle, not as a motherfucking machine. I'm gonna tell you, I recently went through some shit that made me sit my ass down. I recently stopped smoking weed, all right, because having to utilize my body as this oracle energy and not just a machine, because a lot of shit can become mechanical. Like straight up, I'm gonna tell you, when you equate to certain practices and you start knowing certain shit, you can down there get mechanical with this shit. Cause you know the mechanics of the cosmos. So being able to just move and flow is one of the main reasons why I don't even look at my birth chart every day. I don't always look at what's going on in the cosmos because I leave something to wonder and something to experience in my life without feeling like I got some type of logical explanation of what the fuck is going on. See, this is why I teach intuitive astrology. So the way I teach astrology is to help you maintain your intuition, not get so caught up in the jargon and the regurgitation of a general aspect of what a planet is, what a zodiac sign is, so forth, so on. So the solar plexus interlinks with the anahata. That's going to be the heart chakra and the solar plexus. Now, this lunation may initiate autonomic nervous system rebalancing, especially for those people healing from burnout, or performative behavior or loss of joy. A lot of people burnt out because you've been performing. And you're gonna get burnt out when you performing.
He
You
said,
you
who
talk about somebody like Beyonce, Michael
God?
Jackson, right? These type of people, they
It's
can
like
perform
he
all
do
day.
Zodiac. I don't know.
Right?
Pearl just put me onto him today. I don't know.
Can you mute your mic? Thank Pearl. Thank you, Pearl, for putting her on to me though. Appreciate you. Now can you mute your mic for me,
Thank you.
beloved?
Sorry about that.
You good. So dealing with this performative behavior or loss of joy, right? Even heart opening, ego detoxing, and solar rebirth is at play. So blockages that could resurface a fear of being seen, fear of being rejection, right? Whoa, Lord, don't even get me started on that. Old wounds around creative worth or visibility, heartbreaks or betrayals linked to identity. God damn. I'm speaking to myself right here. I ain't gonna hold y'all. Because a lot of these blockages, even if you clear them within yourself, I'm gonna tell you the way this shit works. They show up in other people. Whew. Imagine you done dealt with all this shit and then somebody else shows up with a fear of being seen or fear of being rejected, or they got old wounds around creativity and they worth of being visibility. Now you gotta take that shit on. Now you gotta give grace, you gotta give, and you done dealt with a heartbreaks and betrayal, and this person starting to deflect their heartbreaks and they man say having space for people, being able to give grace and compassion, being honest about what you had a capacity to do. See, it's gonna take some honest shit to tell your friend, to tell your lover, somebody who wants to be your friend, somebody who wants to love on you. I ain't got the capacity to deal with the shit you bringing. That shit might be new to a lot of people who used to performing, who used to just going into some shit and losing your joy because you're caring too much. You don't know when to operate out of love, devoid of a little bit of curl. Not everything. You don't have to just stop curring altogether, but just remove a little bit of curl. It just allows you to adopt a little fuck them people. That's my motto for those of you who might not know. Because that doesn't mean that I don't care. It just means that I start realizing that you're deflecting your heartbreaks, your betrayals, and your fear and your wounds of all this shit, and you deflecting that on me. That is not my shit to deal with. All
Thanks.
right. So being able to accept that, being able to acknowledge that, because a lot of people ain't willing to accept it until you put it up in front of their ass and say, you're doing this. You're showing up as this. They don't like that shit. People don't like to be called out. I say all the time, some people not looking for solutions, they're looking for solace. So you trying to tell somebody about themselves when they already battling with the self? Don't do that. Silence can be your best motherfucking friend with some of these people. I don't gotta have no conversation with you. I don't need no motherfucking closure. You said what you said, and I am where I am. I let you know what it is and what it ain't, because a lot of times you trying to overcompensate for that. You doing a bunch of talking and you ain't standing on business. That's gonna blur the lines, man. You know. So sometimes current too much, and when you say you're not going to accept certain shit and you keep accepting it, I told them I wasn't gonna deal with this no more. I don't know why they keep why you keep answering the goddamn call. Why you keep saying yes? See, it's going back to you. So why you keep experiencing this shit? So speak and act from the heart, even in uncertainty. Cause speaking from your heart might mean your mind gonna be over with all this chatter. Don't say it this way. Don't respond this way. Don't give them no energy. Man, your heart is saying, let them motherfuckers know that you don't care. Say it. See, that's Leo shit, baby. I was in a restaurant with a young lady before. We was in Benny Hunter's down here in Dallas, right? In Addison, it's a place, a restaurant. It's like hibachi. They do a hibachi shit, right? So we up in there, and this young lady was like, "Oh, well, she party, she going out, she just being herself in a hunger." I'm like, chill out. She said, "You bitches, every time we go somewhere, y'all be telling motherfuckers to chill. I don't give a fuck." Da, da, da." And I asked, I said, "Are you a Leo?" She talking about Leo gang in the building, like just certain because unapologetic, like being loud, and because it's what I feel right now, right? That's the same energy of Aquarius. I'm gonna be word until it becomes a trend. See, shit is word to everybody doing it, right? You dressing word, you acting word. This is trendsetter shit, right? And before you know it, everybody in the goddamn restaurant want to dance and twerk. They've been feeling like that in a motherfucking way, but they needed somebody to do it. The Leo always gotta come and set the fucking tone a lot of times. So a lot of times just doing it because it's what you felt. Doing it because you wanted to express it. Throw your ass in a circle if you want to. Right? Who the fuck cares, right? You get what I'm saying? So creating a sacred altar for your inner sovereign self, especially using gold, sunflowers, citrine, and also lion imagery, right? So create a sacred self-love altar, right? Something to help you harness this energy. Now, for all of y'all who might be churchgoers and all that type of stuff, you go to an altar every Sunday. So don't come at me with I'm telling you about how to do something for you and not in the name of your church. Okay. You are the church. Your body is the church. Your body is the temple. I ain't here to change nobody's beliefs. I'm just here to open you up to a different way of seeing shit. That's it. All right. So I ain't mean to attack nobody with that, but I speak from a different place, as you can tell. Now, when you're dealing with the aspects of the petals of the heart chakra, the anahata, because every chakra has a petal. There's so much. That's why the petals are all about a blossoming or a blooming, right? Yeah, when you blossom and bloom, can you mute your mic for me, please? Thank you. So when you blossom or bloom, right, this is going to deal with how we're opening up. This is why we can deal with layers, right? And a lot of understanding the chakras are the energetic centers that we can feel within our body from an outside perspective, but they give us an internal shift. All right. So dealing with this energy of affection, compassion, opening you up to authentic love, your desire to serve, devotion, all right, channeling in a heart-based leadership, delusion, ego purging, illusion of grandeur fall. So being grandiose and all this old shit, too full of yourself, too puffed up, thinking that everything is about you, all this kind of shit is gonna fall. Hope, trust, restoring belief in self and joy, anxiety, heart contraction. All right, this is gonna deal with needs of love and expression to heal, discrimination, discernment, aligning with truth, not flattery. Big difference. Okay. Because flattery will get you nowhere, right? So when you're dealing with being able to discern whether somebody is aligning with what they're saying is truthful or they're trying to flatter you because they want something out of you. It's like somebody being kind, but it's strings attached, right? And somebody just being nice to you out of nowhere. It's just like when a child walk up to you, mama, hey mama, you look like this. Boy, what you want? Mama always know. See, daddy, boy, what you trying to get? Girl, what you want? You get what I'm saying? Because you being nice for nothing. You really want something. You do this every time you want something. It's a lot of adults still do that shit. Just pay attention. All right. So arrogance, false pride, lessons of humility and grace, forgiveness, healing, releasing past wounds and relationships, joy, soul, all this heart chakra shit now. All right. This is what your heart want to do. Okay. So soul expression, rebirth through creativity, a spiritual longing, a connection, serious codes awakening in your inner sun. All right, that's your heart, right? Equanimity, that's gonna bring balance and harmony, holding center in chaos. Can you stay centered in the middle of the motherfucking storm? When everything around you is chaotic, can you take a deep breath and say everything gonna be all right? Think
Bruh.
about a child once again. You know how a child, you could be sitting up here stressed out. You don't know how you gonna pay the bills. You end up having to tell your baby, I ain't gonna be able to buy you nothing this year for Christmas or for your birthday. And the child be like, it's all right, mom, everything gonna be all right. And you just, oh, my baby just told me everything gonna be. Children will always have a sense of optimism. All right. So compassion, unity, Leo as radiance of unconditional love. I always talk about you cannot understand or embrace unconditional love if you don't embrace the motherfucking conditions first. All right. So here's some foods you can implement that'll help you out because these foods are going to be heavy with these minerals that you need. All right, bitter greens, dandelion greens, arugula, magnesium, nervous system support. Citrus fruits will bring you vitamin C and flavonoids, and also heart vitality circulation. Beets are high in iron and nitrous oxide, which helps with blood. So you want to oxygenate the blood or put some oxygen in your blood, eat some beets. All right, basil, rosemary, these are like even dealing with oils, right? Because these oils are very volatile. That brings a lot of clarity and solar stimulation. Cacao is very high in bromine. All right, bromine is something that you find also in pineapples and shit. So copper, heart opening joy, chemistry, golden berries, sunflower seeds are high in zinc and BC. All right, confidence as that helps to bring serotonin balance. All right, so hibiscus tea is an antioxidant and it helps heart regulation and cooling during the serious heat. So get some hibiscus tea when you're outside. Make you some, add you some golden berries or something to it, right? So you can get a little freaky with these concoctions here. Make sure you're consuming a lot of these things, but they're gonna help you out during this time. All right. So of course, some of the things you can activate: radiance, boldness. You're also going to deal with bringing in the power of the inner child, the voice, the courage, the rebirth, taking some creative risks, rebranding your image on platform and mission, launching a creative content that reflects your authentic story. Not this. I'm bored. Look at him. Authentic story. I should have capitalized that shit. A lot of people out here crazy false narratives because you doing shit for likes, doing shit for content, right? And it's not authentic. I'm gonna tell you about how this world and this shit works with authenticity. I've been dealing with this shit for a while. You don't get a lot of likes. You don't get a bunch of people without controversy, without drama. People love drama. They love controversy. They love. That's why you watch a lot of people change their narrative in order to get notoriety, and then you get glimpses of the true self. Charleston White is a big example of this, and he's a Virgo. All right, which the sign out the Leo. I'm gonna speak to that in a minute, but reconnecting with a purpose of your light, a purpose that lights you up, right? Let yourself be seen, even if it's imperfect, all right? Because who's judging perfection? Fuck these people, all right? Light a gold candle, invoke the solar logos of Segmec. You don't got to do this now. People who not into this, you can invoke Jesus or whatever you want to invoke. So practicing sun gazing or Leo theme mantras. I am the light. You can definitely invoke Jesus with that. That should make you feel good. I express my soul boldly and truthfully. Work with Lionsgate energy, which begins to build towards 8-8, right? August the 8th. So shadow work prompts, where do I fear being seen, rejected, all that good stuff. So inner child things you can tap into. All right. And also a teacher, a real life example of how this can kind of play out. A teacher burnt out from systems finds new joy, leading children through storytelling and creative play. Entrepreneur launches a podcast that blends human with heart themes of identity and confidence. A healer integrates sound, dance, and ancestral solar invocations into their rituals, activating the solar plexus rebirth. A writer reclaims the voice by channeling poems, right, that the 7-year old self once whispered into their soul. Now, metaphysical insights is the reality to return to royalty, right? Because this is going to be this serious energy infused with this Uranian frequency reminds us of divine sovereignty. In these days and times of the digital distractions, climate collapse, and disinformation wars, the heart voice is only a compass. We're not asked to perform, we're asked to embody. Now, here I'm gonna speak to a little mythology behind this Leo energy to kind of show you how this has been used throughout ancient times. All right, Leo is associated with the Nemean lion, a beast slain by Hercules. All right, remember Hercules had to slain this lion, right? If y'all think about the mythology behind Hercules, right, and he had to come back with the lion's head and all of those type of shit. So as the first of his 12 labors, right? Remember the 12, he had 12 labors because it's 12 zodiacs. But this ain't a story about Hercules, but I'm just telling you about how these archetypes are played out. The lion's golden fur was impervious to weapons, right? He can wear the fur and not be hurt. Hercules had to wrestle with his bare hands, representing overcoming raw animal instincts. It's metaphysical and metaphorical. He later wore the lion's pelt, a symbol of integrated power, right? So raw primal strength, solar nobility, divine courage to overcome the inner beast. First step in your hero's journey is conquering the goddamn self. Whatever the ego has connected to, whatever you become to identify with, a part of this first part of your soul's journey or the hero's journey is conquering what you think is the self. Now, the lion had deep spiritual significance and comedic connections called Sigmet, the lioness of the sun, a soul, a warrior goddess, protector of Ma'at. Ma'at is cosmic order, truth, justice, law, reciprocity. There's cosmic law at play. All right. Cosmic order has a lot to do with the order of the planets and the mechanics of the planets. Not this shit. Even man's law reflects cosmic law. I might do a whole little zoom on that as well. Now, I've done that before, but I might just kind of do it from a revised place. Now, embodies righteous rage, sacred fire, and divine discipline. This is associated with healing, right? The plague, and justice, right? Her roar was said to cause earthquakes and drive away darkness. So pay attention to earthquakes. Volcanoes could become more active around now as well. Sekhmet's fiery essence connects to Leo's solar rulership, and her transformational power mirrors the process of refining instinct into divine will, right? It's kind of the same thing when the Bible talks about the divine mind or the mind of God. All right, a feminine principle is going to have to transform that. All right, so it just lets you know that there is no rebirth without a spirit of a feminine principle. Period. So the Sphinx in the body of the lion and the head of a woman symbolically joins Leo, the lion, the body, and Virgo, the maiden, the head. So Virgo and Leo is the whole essence of what the Sphinx is about. It marks actually the age of Pluto and Virgo. Okay, now the evolution from instinct to wisdom. This aligns with the age of Leo, all right? Because 10,000 BCE, during the floods, the myths, the Zep, the Tepi, the first time that Sirius rose helically, right? This is also seen as the rebirth of Ra of the sun. Now, that's just talking about the feminine principle and how the oceans and the waters always change when we're dealing with a full moon and also a new moon energy. So in astrotheology, the sun, the father, and the hero. Leo, ruled by the sun, represents the divine spark incarnated and in the individual soul. The hero child archetype, like Horus or Heru, or the son of Osiris and Isis, which is also Asar and Oset. The mythic journey from child to king, from the raw ego to divine heart. This is what you see in the aspects of any hero's journey. Think about the movies, right? It's always a protagonist and an antagonist. So the hero child archetype, like, the mythical journey from all these things is all about the son and the father principle symbolizing creative force, consciousness, order, and will. The child you must become one with the son, not just orbited. Why do you think they call in religion the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost? They're playing on this principle. This is an ancient story. This is way before the Bible. This story of Osar and Osset, Osiris and Heru and all this type of shit. Go look up the Osarian drama. All right, that's actually a book, the Asarian Drama. You can go look that up and see how old that was and how it predates the Bible. All right. So a call to adventure, stepping into personal purpose, ego confrontation, rejection of shame, the abyss, crisis of consciousness or confidence, I would say, the rebirth, the emergence of the soul-led identity. Return with the elixir, baby, using your voice or your gift to uplift others. And as you can see, the Virgo archetype with the Leo energy, because the Leo is the animal nature and the inner beast. Leo governs the heart and the solar plexus and the spine. So Leo governs your spine, the courage centers. At its lowest vibration, Leo energy expresses egotism, pride, and demand for validation, tyranny, and theatrics. All right. So to reflect on the animalistic layer of a human nature, the desire to dominate and be seen, be worshipped, using performance-based protection and confusing attention with love. Woo-hoo-wee. Confusing attention with love. Y'all know I'm gonna stop on that one right quick, right? Somebody can give you a false sense of attention only to use love as a spell, meaning a motherfucker can act like they love you by feeding you a little bit of attention. And that could be cool with you because you might not have gotten a lot. See, this is why I say love devoid of care leads to a feeling of disrespect. See, somebody can say they love you but not care for you. So when you talking about confusing attention with love, even with a crowd, you know how many celebrities look at how many celebrities waking up from this shit, right? And how many celebrities will remind you that just because the crowd of people say they love you, even there's a thin line between love and hate, right? So do you want the type of attention that becomes so possessive to where a motherfucker say, now a lot of women done been through this, right? And this man, shit, I thought this man, but this nigga started doing extra ass shit, doing too much. And now when I start telling nigga I don't want to be with him no more, this nigga got possessive, right? And this can become controlling, right? So when you start to confuse love with attention, and that's why a lot of people begin to crave love, craving attention. You aren't craving love, you're craving attention. So true love requires a sense of presence, right? So confusing attention with love is something that I feel like we've done by romanticizing what love is. He bought me this, he did this, he texts me every day, he called me every day, and doing all this shit. Don't confuse attention with love. Somebody could be paying you some attention, and then you start thinking that they want you, they want to be with you. Women go through that shit too. Damn, I spoke to this nigga. I started telling him, hey, and comment on his post and shit. Now this nigga think I want to be his wife. What the fuck happened, nigga? Why did you get this shit confused? Now the nigga sending dick pics and shit. I'm just telling you. A lot of motherfuckers confuse attention with love. So be careful with that shit, okay? Now when you start using this energy is kind of necessary for starting a starting point for human evolution, because the raw fire must be refined. So pride becomes dignity when integration happens, okay? Performance becomes authenticity. Recognition becomes service. That is when you integrate Leo and Virgo. Just think about it. Pride becomes dignity, Virgo. Performance, Leo becomes authenticity, how Virgo wants to operate, right? Virgo wants to operate. How Virgos don't operate authenticity. Don't get me started on that shit. Now, even people with Virgo traits, okay? So recognizing a recognition that becomes service, right? Virgos love to be of service. So a lot of times the Leo wants recognition. So I'm just showing you how both of these archetypes can work together when you bring both of them into a retrospective or into perspective. Leo Virgo represents the alchemical journey from king to servant, from ego to soul, from ruler to healer. See, can you can a king truly be a king if you're not willing to serve the people? Right? Can a king or can you truly be somebody that is calling yourself moving from the soul when you're not willing to deal with the healing of people? This is why Virgo rules herbs and our digestive. It's the way our body sifts out shit. It's the way your body, every organ of your body and your mind, all right, because your mind is a part of your body, but the way we talk about it, we act like it's separate from that. But the way your mind and your body disseminate information, the way it takes away the meat and leaves the bones, the way you take everything and analyze it and criticize it and filter it, and now you get a refined sense of what it is, right? And your body will shit it out, okay? So that's why shit can feel so good, you know, holding your shit, constipation. A lot of people are mentally constipated, and that equates to a lot of regurgitation, or a lot of throwing up. And a lot of people got diarrhea of the fucking mind, and it comes out their mouth. All right, so just be very mindful of how this can play out. So this Virgo, the virgin, the maiden. This is why they say the son was born of a virgin during the age of Pisces, or during the age of religion, or the age of Jesus, the fish, right? The son being born of a virgin because the opposite of Virgo is Pisces. All right. So Jesus represents the constellation or the integration of the time of Pisces or the age of Pisces, bringing in the age of beliefs and all this whole type of shit. But that's why a lot of people are starting to move beyond you. They moving into Yahweh now. They don't let go of the white Jesus, got a black one. I'm just telling you. I'm just not an attack on people. I'm just telling you how even in Russia, they began to drop the pictures of Yahweh and a black Jesus, understanding that this is a ascended master, somebody who did teach and walk the earth per se, but this energy got personified into an energy of that. Because Yahweh is Jehovah, Yahweh is the breath, right? The breath of life, the breath of God. So I ain't here to break all that down. I just want to give you the aspect of how these energies are starting to take new forms. That's it. Same form, same energy, different name. Same energy. It's just like with every culture, every tradition is done. Same energy, different name. Muhammad, Allah, everybody got a different name for the same goddamn energy. All right, it's just the way people do to make themselves feel good and connected to shit. That's what beliefs and ideas are. I ain't gonna change. I ain't gonna challenge. I ain't gonna deal with nobody on that one because if you look up belief, it'll tell you what it is. So when you're dealing with this energy that is associated with Isis of Mayat, which is coming from a Kemetic perspective of these deities, but in Kemet, the difference was these energies were revered as a part of nature, not something that you worship, but something that you reverence, something that you respect, something that you honor, not something you have to live your life so called by. All right. So the divine feminine, there was the energy of that in Kemet. It governs digestion, the nervous system, and refinement. All right. So that's why you see what Leo did with the fifth sign. I am centered, bold, expression, childlike joy, creative spark. Virgo, the sixth sign. I serve the whole quiet precision, mature responsibility, disciplined craft, and integration. That is a higher octave of Virgo energy. All right, our Virgo energy don't operate that way. Our people don't operate with Virgo that way. Let me say that. So Leo's fire is necessary to awaken a divine individual. Virgo's earth is necessary to channel that fire into service, healing, and skill. So you see, if a Virgo don't channel that fire, what happen? Right? So this is the true becoming of the adult and no longer living just for applause, but to embody the meaning of purpose. Because when you deal with the fifth into the sixth house, the first six houses of the zodiac or the first six signs of the zodiac are all about the self. All right. When you get into the second six signs, which is Libra into Pisces, this is integrating into other people. The first six signs are all about the self. The first six houses are all about the self. The integration into the people requires that you drop some part of your survival mode, animalistic nature, all this whole type of shit, so you can't integrate. All right. Now, when you deal with the matters of the heart, Leo tells Leo governs the heart chakra, the anahata, challenges you to love without conditions, lead with integrity, expresses without needing validation, hold space for the inner child and the adult self, the ego versus the heart. Ego, Leo, see me. I need applause. I am the king. I perform. Divine Leo, feel me. I am the applause. I serve through radiance. I express truth. So you see the flip here? Right? You see how we go from one polarity into another? This is a journey of a Leo, right? A Leo got to go from see me to feel me, a part of not needing the crowd to I am my own motherfucking supporter. I do this because I cheer for me. I'm going to pat my motherfucking self on the back, right? I want to thank myself. You know what I'm saying? I am the king. Now I serve through radiance. I don't have to adhere to that title. I don't perform, I express, baby. Right? So you're not here to perform, you're here to express. You're here to experience, and that only comes through expression. So the integration of Leo, of the lion, is when we can stand in the light without burning others or ourselves. Whew. Just as the sun shines without needing thanks. Now, do that stop motherfuckers from getting burned by the sun? You know how many times I can't stand that sun. That sun out there shining like a motherfucker. Don't give a fuck about what you better hydrate. You better go eat some watermelon. You better go do something. Better get some water. You better do something because the sun gonna sun, Jack. So do, do you have to be apologetic if a motherfucker step out there and they full of traumas It's just like when you step outside, you full of heavy metals, you're full of toxins and shit. Now your spirit done upset motherfucker demons because they full of their own insecurities, their own inability to have the courage to be themselves. And now they around you sweating and oh they sweating you, or they don't like you. Something about them I just don't like. Something about the way they act, the way they talk, the way they. Man, people so full of their own shit. And that's why all you gotta do is shine, baby. And I say something too with this energy. Sometimes you gotta do something for a motherfucker they demons won't do. Leave their ass alone. You don't need a thanks. You don't need validation. The sun don't need that shit. That motherfucker just shines, and it just emits rays until the nighttime come. And it don't fight against the moon either. The sun don't fight against the moon, right? The sun sets and the moon rises. It's just how the shit goes. And they do the same dance in the morning, right? Sunrise, the moon is still in the earth. No, the moon still be outside when the sun rises, right? The moon ain't fighting against the sun. Sun ain't fighting against the moon. So stop fighting against your own thoughts and your own goddamn emotions. Fuck them people. So learning to reparent yourself, becoming your own source of affirmation, creating space for your own joy and pain, cultivating courage to protect your own dreams. The Leo journey is about becoming the parent you needed and learning to nurture your own brilliance. All right? So, radiance, courage, self expression, joy, sovereignty, inner child, divine service, humility, refinement, transformation. All this is something that you can integrate. So, work with the sun, dawn ritual, solar plexus breath, reflect on pride. Where are you afraid to be vulnerable? Which is going to lead to an authentic expression. All right. Practice courageous expression in safe containers, in a safe container. You got to prepare an ambiance for yourself with this. If you ain't already, if you haven't, if you're not used, because it's hard to grow in a certain, it's like the concrete rose. In the right environment, a human being will blossom naturally. So you trying to heal in the same environment that got you sick is not a safe container. You trying to integrate yourself into the same motherfucker that's bent on not understanding you is not a safe container. You trying to become the full version of yourself with people that are bent on keeping you the same, bent on holding on to an unhealed version of you, that is not a safe container. You integrate into these spiritual communities where you're feeling the disdain, the hate, the secrecy, the people judging you. That is not a safe container. Honoring your discernment so you can integrate into the right space, the right places is very powerful as you're becoming this courageous expression of yourself. So ambiance is key now, all right? Because you need this type of thing to allow you to cultivate that within yourself. Until you're able to do it alone, I guarantee you other people will be there to reflect that I feel you, understand you. And the more you let go of those people who you want to show up, you will embrace the people who are naturally showing up to love you for who you are, not who they want you to be. You got to be willing to discern that, and you got to be willing to sometimes drop whatever your insecurities are, whatever your doubts are, because this shit can be still coming from old wounds, and these people is not your enemy. So being able to receive, being able to open yourself up, and that's what people call vulnerability, right? So where are you afraid to be vulnerable? Because a lot of times, once you expose that part of yourself to people, one or two things can happen. Either they're going to show you that they feel you and they're here to be a safe space or help you and cultivate that part of yourself, or they're going to show you that they're not. How you deal with it is still your thing. It's still a you thing. All right. So serve somebody anonymously. Test to see if your gift still shines when it's unseen. You know how people go live when they want to go feed the homeless and everybody got to know this shit and shit, right? Do you still get the same fulfillment if everybody don't know that you did it? Can you still feel good about it if you don't go tell nobody what the fuck you did? See, this can let you know if you still need some validation, which is cool. You got to be able to recognize this for yourself. All right. The lion doesn't need to prove his roar, baby. This presence commands. Oh, yeah, a lion. We go to the jungle. You see a lion in a park or a safari or whatever. That lion ain't got a roar. You just gonna be looking. Well, that motherfucker roar. You gonna be like, damn. So you don't got a roar. Sometimes you show up as you. Think about royalty, right? Somebody who just shows up and you just look at them and see it. The sacred Leo is not the performer, but the embodied sun, giving warmth without demand. This is the evolution the heavens beckon us towards. All right. From raw primal ego to the divine lion of the heart, from attention seeking cubs to powered guardians, to sun powered guardians of light and justice. Leo's true gift isn't performance, it's presence. And the Leo Virgo continuum, we learn how to serve the divine through joyful discipline. Now, this part right here, my ruffles and feathers, I'm tell y'all right now, because I'm finna go into a little scripture here. All right, I'm gonna give y'all some metaphysical and metaphorical meaning behind the scripture. All right, so if you're not willing to embrace a new way to look at scripture, you can go ahead and leave now. Okay, so when you're looking at the spiritual esoteric symbolism of the sun, baby, the sun is the divine principle of the logos. The logos is like, you just look up logos. I'm gonna let you, the logos, the logo. Think about logo symbolism. All right. In ancient, in many ancient and spiritual traditions, the sun is a symbolic of divine intelligence, the logos in Greek philosophy, which embodies order, life, truth, and the will of the creator. In Christian mysticism, the sun parallels Christ, who is referred to as the light of the world, John 8 and 12, the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. John 14 and 6. The heart chakra, the anahata, is ruled by but resonates with solar gold frequency, the essence of divine will plus unconditional love. The sun governs Leo, the zodiac sign associated with the heart, courage, and divine will, the spiritual lion, and the kingly archetype. To open the heart is to become a vessel of divine solar intelligence, compassion, truth, and radiant joy. Christ consciousness and the psychic sun. Christ as the solar logos represents consciousness, realization, and the divinity within humanity. See, this is why it says, "Be ye illuminated of the mind." The Bible speaks to a lot about illumination. You got to ask yourself, why is this? The psychic sun, an esoteric term, refers to the inner sun of the soul center, the place where divine light and intuition and knowing rise, the downloads. God said this to me. I got a word from God today. Man, that's consciousness. Somebody done gave you this word, this Germanic ass term called God, and they done trained you and indoctrinated you and beat Jesus and the Bible into your ancestors. Over 500 years of indoctrination, removing you from the true nature of you, beating you into submission. And just like when you watching Roots, what's your name? Gunther. What's your name? Gunther. What's your name? Wow, wow, wow. What's your name? Toby. Say, think that shit is a game. Think that shit didn't happen for real. Think your ancestors weren't killed and beat into believing into a Christ energy, and then they gave you a Bible, and then you watch old videos the way people say, "Go pray to your God, because I ain't here to save you." The same slave owners that gave these people the Bible turned around and killed them in the name of God. So play with this shit if you want to. Just go do your own motherfucking research. So no one goes to the Father except through me, right? No access to the divine source, Father, without inner illumination, Christ light. You gotta illuminate some shit to get to God, baby. That means something gotta get burned away. Something gotta die. See? That's why it always is about a rebirth and a resurrection. You understand? Easter Sunday. Have anybody ever asked, they said, why the fuck Easter falls on a Sunday and the time that it does is dealing with the movement of the sun? Ash Wednesday. All this is letting you know that we're moving into the spring equinox. The sun is coming back alive. It dies during the winter, during Christmas. The sun declines into the western or the southern hemisphere. This southern hemisphere is where the sun begins to illuminate, and now we got summer on one side of the world and winter on the other. All this is a movement of the sun, and this is also having a spiritual context behind the physical sun, the source of biological life. Look up everything I'm saying here now, okay? Biological life, photosynthesis, warmth, and gravitational order corresponds to the body, energy, circadian rhythms, your sleep cycles, and cellular activity. Everybody got cellular activity. Everybody got a body. Everybody got energy. The psychic sun, the inner light of consciousness and the soul awareness, the mind, intuition, knowing, and vision. Where you think that come from? The spiritual sun, divine intelligence, Christ consciousness, radiance of soul realization, ascension, surrender, divine unity. You done been through so much with the physical and the psychic sun to where the spiritual sun wants to rebirth you. This is why we go through a repeat of getting saved and all this kind of shit because something about you wants to be reborn. Leonardo da Vinci said something in reference to this. And y'all see me, if y'all follow me on social media, I posted a video from Santos Bonacci, right? Which is a famous astrologer. He's been into astrology, very, very good at the metaphysics. Y'all go look him up. Da Vinci said that I only wish I had words, right? I only wish I had words to serve me to blame those who are fain to extol the worship of man more than that of the sun. For the whole universe, there is now where no now or nowhere to be seen a body greater than of a greater magnitude and power than the sun. He was talking about the praise of the sun. It was like he was a mystic and a scientist, revered the sun as the greatest visible manifestation of divine truth. He contrasts the vanity of man worshiping the external and the impartial light of the sun. And the statement embodies the Gnostic and the Hermetic understanding that nature reveals the divine. Not in church, not in scripture. Nature does. How all these people back then knew this type of shit. Hippocrates, right? He even said if you don't, Hippocrates even said if you don't know astrology, if you aren't your own healer, right? You're giving it away to somebody else. These people spoke about esoteric sciences. Now we get removed from that, but we still live by the principles that they want us to live by. He contrasts the vanity of this worship of man with this and a statement about the Gnostic and also the sun being its clearest emblem of the divine. That's why it relates to the archangel Michael. Michael, he who is like God. Just go look this shit up. Divine warrior, protector of the light, corresponds to the solar logos and is associated with Leo and the Lion of Judah. Courage, divine justice, and truth. The soul of fire that burns illusion and defeats darkness. Luciferic ego pride. See? In esoteric Christianity, Michael is the sun, guardian, leading humanity towards light and truth and the spiritual war of ascension. That's why you call on him guardian or archangel Mike, archangel Michael to come protect you and lead you back to the sense of God or the sense of the sun. So photons, quantum particles that light emanated by the sun, they activate the life force in all beings. Photosynthesis, plants convert light into energy. Spiritual metaphor for humans transforming divine light into consciousness. We are all like plants. The biological reality, because we grow up like a plant, right? What is growing you up? You sprout up. You are sprout. You're growing up. You're growing towards the sun. Everything in this reality grows towards the sun, even if it grows underground. This is why you watch a lot of people like Dr. Sebi, a lot of people who study the body. They don't eat root foods, foods that don't grow towards the sun. They say don't eat them. To tell you how a lot of people start to equate this energy. Now, the human eye, the skin absorb light influencing mood, vitamin D, immune health, and also the pineal gland or the inner light center. The sun activates the mitochondrial DNA, the powerhouse of the cells. Anybody that was just in my Divine Feminine workshop, which that's still available for purchase if anybody wants to purchase the replay. That aspect is the powerhouse of the cells because the sun activates the mitochondria. This is the mitochondrial DNA that lies in the woman. Inside of the mitochondrial DNA lies the word or even the essence of what we call the matrix. So early mystic yogis and Egyptians, go look up everything I'm saying. Please do your own research, all right? Early mystics and yogis and Egyptian priestess saw sunlight as sacred food and spiritual elixir. Now you're hearing people talking about, we don't got to eat every day. We can eat fruits. We can eat from the sun. A lot of motherfuckers is eating, doing watermelon challenges like they fading away out here, but don't get me on that, okay? But the hero's journey in the sun and the sun represents ego and soul's journey towards divine wholeness. In Leo's season ruled by the sun, we're asked to step into center stage of our lives, develop healthy pride, not arrogance. Cultivate. Don't this sound like Jesus? Think about. I want y'all to think about Jesus, the parallel, the teaching of Jesus Christ. when I talk about a lot of these things. Cultivate solar virtues, courage, generosity, warmth, and leadership. Face the shadow of the ego, the false light of pride. Why hast thou forsaken me? When he was on the cross. Vanity, dominance. Leo to Virgo evolution. Leo is the individual spark, the radiant I am. Virgo teaches humility, refinement, and service, integrating the light into sacred purpose. That's why Virgos don't like people who they feel like get a lot of attention, who they feel like are full of themselves. But a lot of times, Virgo energy could be overly analytical and critical because they're still dealing with embracing this part of themselves within themselves. Now, when you're dealing with the sun and ascension, ascension raising one's consciousness, frequency to merge with divine light. The sun is both the portal which cosmic intelligence flows, a teacher of consistency, patience, creative fire, and radiant presence. Ascension practices can be solar, gazing at sunrise, sunset, safe hours to kind of look into the sun, heart opening meditations focusing on golden light, affirmations, I am the light of the world. Jesus said through you shall do greater works than him. All right. So don't be afraid to embrace your light. Don't feel like you're going against God. This is actually one of the most powerful instances of God that you can invoke within yourself. Literally. So radiance, light, life, courage, ego, will, power, heroicism, purpose, truth, ascension, leadership, love, Michael, fire, divine order, inner sun, Christ light. Where in my life am I dimming my light? Out of fear of conformity. What does healthy pride mean to me? Where do I confuse the ego? Right? How can I lead from a heart, not just a mind? Where am I being asked to illuminate my life within the lives of others? Am I worshiping man-made ideals or aligning with the natural truth of the sun? And the sun gonna shine, baby. So the sun is one of the most consistent principles, and it is the most powerful powerful principle in this reality because everything has the essence of the sun energy in it. Just burn it. You'll see what the fuck I'm talking about. Everything must turn to an ash, and you will see when you put fire to anything, what happens to it. All right. Now this is gonna be a lot of this energy. I want to go off into this Chiron energy. All right, but this is also a part of the people with the Virgo sun sign, moon sign, your ascendant, all that type of stuff. Of course, all that can be broken down. So remember, if you want to purchase the PDF, please make sure you tap in and get that. It is $22. And if you want to get the full breakdown for yourself, it will be 99 and that will come with the PDF. All right. I want to focus on this part as I'm about to get ready to finish up. All right. This is going to be because these energies here are people with Leo North Node, even with a lot of these themes in Leo. Of course, we went through those expressions, but the Leo North Node, because people with Leo in the North Node, or Leo in the fifth house, or North Node in the fifth house, you're evolving towards more self-expression and courage. This is going to ignite a part of your chart. I want to make sure I touch on this for people who have this placement. All right, so for those of you who might not be familiar with a North Node, you have a point in your chart that is a mathematical point. And that point is equivalent to your soul, life, mission, and purpose. Everything in your life is pushing you towards one thing. Your North Node can be like the most unfamiliar territory in your chart or in your life, but everything in your life is pushing you and molding you towards this expression. All right. So it depends on where your North Node is, and you'll have a South Node as well, which can show past life experiences and also your comfort zones and tendencies that you can slip back into in this life. When you're not moving into something new, when you're not moving into something that requires you to be bold, be innovative, going to a new way of thinking, a new way of being, you're going back to a comfort zone. Your South Node can equivalent to that, and your North Node can be how you're aspiring to be this thing, but you might not have a clear understanding or a clear perception on how to do it or how to get there. So Leo North Node individuals are evolving towards self-expression, courage, and sovereignty. In this lifetime, they're meant to be seen, celebrated, and self-directed, moving away from the comfort, group thinking, anonymity, and detachment. That's a South Node in Aquarius. All right. So fear of taking center stage, hiding behind logic, data, or the collective, over resilience on pure validation or approval. All right. So this new moon is going to activate a lot of that for you. This is gonna be a spiritual ignition, especially of your soul mission where you gotta shine. Mercury retrograde nearby cause for revisiting past expression and creative lost dreams, voices being silenced by fear. Now, this could be related to a lot of people, even if you don't have a Leo North Node. That's why I want to touch on this. Revive a childhood creative expression. Speak your truth boldly, especially in leadership roles. Reframe your narrative from I am too much to I am radiant. People with a lot of Leo placement can feel like, especially they in bad places, like I would say, like they're in places where it's hidden, the 12th house, the 8th house, even in the aspect of your 10th house. It could be a lot of rigidness around your Leo energy, the way it shows up. So reframing your narrative from I am too much to I am radiant, even solar plexus, heart chakra, built heart center, confidence, breath work, right? All that good stuff. Leo South Node. If you got Leo in the South Node, that means you have an Aquarius North Node. So the Leo South Node becomes past lives where performers, rulers, celebrities, or heroic figures, but in the ego inflation, entitlement or abandonment of the collective led to imbalance. So, spiritual challenges needing applause to feel worthy, drama addiction or seeking approval, difficulty sharing the spotlight. So this influence on this new moon is going to influence the need for validation, a surrender to the need for validation, and also instead to express from your soul, not the ego. Mercury retrograde is support. We're going to support the inner dialogue and rewiring of the prideful narratives. Practice humility through service. Even let others lead. Right, transform the former into the heart-centered teacher. Regulate through inner child healing, ego deconstruction rituals, focus on collaborative breath work, expressing journaling or improvisational movement. This is also going to do a lot of your Chiron and Leo, which is going to be a wound, but your greatest gift to the world. Now, the wound is even if you got Chiron in the fifth house, all right? So, your wound around being seen, this placement carries deep pain and feelings of being unseen, unloved, unworthy of the spotlight. Often this wound begins in the childhood with a lack of affirmation and emotional recognition from the father figures or mentors. A lot of people with this Chiron and Leo have a wound around a father. Either your father could have died early on in your life as well. Depends on how your Chiron is aspected. Now, overcompensation through performance. That's why Aquarius rules stepfathers. Leo deals with the father. A lot of people who have Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising had a stepfather come into their life at some point. So Aquarius can rule your stepfather, the stepfather energy, right? And also Leo rules the father archetype. So overcompensating. Now in your personal reading, if you got these placements, I'll break those down for you. Now overcompensation through performance and attention seeking, fear of rejection and leadership, creative blockages tied to shame. The Leo new moon retrograde is a healing portal to the new nation for it reopens the wounds of visibility, but also brings deep healing through retelling the story. Mercury retrograde prompts reclaiming the voice that was silenced or mocked. So you're dealing with theater therapy, you're also dealing with expressive dance, storytelling circles, mirror affirmations, reparent the inner performer, reconnect with playful joy and experiences, pressure, and all that good stuff. The throat, the solar plexus, the closed plexus, the heart chakra, realignment, focusing on emotional self-regulation through mantras, sound healing, and warmth. You're also going to deal with Pluto and Leo generation. That generation, of course, if you got parents that were born from 37 to 58, if you are somebody who were born between the years of 1937 and 1958, this is your generation. This is the post-war creativity, entertainment, power, and the pride. They were born in the world of reshaping identity and cultural leadership. This is also the baby boomers. This is also going to deal with that narrative of what goes on in this house stays in this house. So if you have parents like that, some of y'all might have been raised by your grandparents per se. All right. So if you were raised by your grandparents, you definitely got a glimpse of this type of energy. All right. Um, it's going to invite a lot of this transformation from that Pluto and Leo generation because the sun opposite Pluto in direct confrontation of the shadow of leadership, especially pride, has replaced purpose. A lot of people who have been ruling from an ancient place of being too overly analytical, too egotistical, too caught up in their own narrative. A lot of that shit is gonna fall. Retiring from being the boss and the mentor to the next generation. Let go of control and family dynamics and express softer. Creative authority, reconnect to divine play and inspiration through arts of spirituality. Now, the Venus square Mars energy is going to amplify a lot of these tension around these roles of ego and intimacy. The key is to find harmony between heart-centered desire and assertive willpower. All right, so some of these things you can do some embodiment, releasing ego tension, active vocal courage, Solar plexus energy grounding at 5 Leo, regulating pride induced stress, the gut brain axis. Journaling with the inner child, rekindling joy and authenticity. That's going to heal the emotional body. Creative expression, painting, dancing, acting, to reconnect to unfiltered expression, sacral heart energy, sacral and heart chakra energy. I am affirmation series, rewriting identity through confidence and sovereignty, mental rewiring. All right, so that embodiment is going to be huge for a lot of people shifting from these dynamics. The performer, the child, the king, the Leo archetype seeks identity through external recognition, learns the value of joy, courage, and self worth. Virgo, the servant, the healer, the priestess, transform ego into service, purifies the creative fire into meaningful work. The sun equals the father, the self. Leo teaches us to embody the father principle, not by dominating, but by illuminating others. Parenting oneself becomes essential in this evolutionary step. So the Leo new moon conjunct this Mercury retrograde under the eye of Pluto, square Mars and Venus, Uranus disrupting all any mental patterns. How do you show up as your true self when no one is watching? Can you be your own biggest fan, healer, and director? Can you play all three roles? I'm gonna tell you, all three of those roles can be a hell of a dynamic to step into, but it's gonna be a path into wholeness. All right. In the age of performative everything, Leo asks us to lead from the heart, not the stage. And this lunation, especially for those with the Leo nodal or generational signatures, become the divine reminder that you were born to radiate, not to validate. All right. So, of course, there's a ritual to go with all this and all that good stuff. But I definitely want to make sure I tapped into those things to help you out understand the power of Leo and how it's showing up in your life and how you can embrace more of these parts of the self. All right. So, with that being said, I've come to the end of the workshop. I appreciate you all for being here and all that good stuff, right? You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here on this Zoom. So make sure you share something, take something with you. If somebody does choose to share and tag me on social media, I would definitely be looking for people to gift some breakdowns too. And once again, if you are interested in getting your personal breakdowns, make sure you hit me up. Make sure you let me know so I can get that with you, get that into you. All right. So I know it was a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of y'all participation. Y'all sit through this. And we've been here for about 2 hours or so. So I appreciate your time, your energy, and all that good stuff. And now remember, if y'all want the PDF, make sure you let me know. It's $22. If you want to get the personal breakdown, it will be 99. All right. So gratitude to you all for your time, your energy. I'll take a little moment for some people to reflect. Anything you want to add, anything you want to share, or any questions about any clarity about what I'm offering or anything like that. I also want to let you know that I offer services around herbs. If you want to detox, if you need a health or herbal consultation to help you meet you where you are within that, you can definitely inbox me or just reach out to me to help you make that happen. I'm definitely big on healing the body in all levels. This ain't about just going into some type of thinking your way through it. There's a herb for everything. If you are looking for mentorship services, I offer mentorship. I work with children as well. I'm also do speaking engagements. I travel. I help facilitate events and all that good stuff as well. So if you're interested in any service that I offer, make sure you hit me up. I'm always here to be of service. I have a Virgo North Node. You know what I'm saying? So I and also Kamisha. I just sponsored the PDF for 5 people. She literally just sent the money for 5 people to get this PDF. So if you are one of these 5 people, make sure I get your email address. All right. And I'll just do the first 5 people and I'll match that with five. I'm gonna match Kamisha with 5. So the first 10 people to inbox me or to send me your email address, all right, I'm gonna send you the PDF for free. All right, you don't have to pay for it. Kamisha cover 5. I'm matching her 5. So 10 people will be receiving this PDF. If you feel like you can benefit from the PDF, don't hesitate to hit me up and get it. All right. So thank you all once again. Anybody got any questions, anything you want to add, anything like that? All right, beautiful
So I
souls.
want to say thank you. This is my
Hey,
first
beloved,
time.
how are you?
I was introduced to this. Well, again, Kamisha invited me. So this is interesting. And so I guess you say inbox you because I want to know the difference between the offerings that I did see on your on the Instagram. I don't know. Is something natal chart separate from all this, or do you have to pick one of the combined numerology, tarot, and natal chart?
Now, thank you for that question. That was a beautiful question because I offer several different readings. All right, for those of you who may not know, she's asking about the type of readings that I offer. This one would just be a transit reading. If you want the transit reading, it's just $99. It is not my full reading. All right. The reading that I'm offering with this is just specifically based on the transits that we're experiencing now. All right. So I'll be looking at your chart and I'll be focusing on what is Leo doing in your chart. All right. That's what this transit reading is about. I'll be literally focusing on what Leo is doing in your chart, how it shows up in your chart, how it shows up in your life. And that'll be the personal breakdown for this particular workshop. Now, the other reading that I offer, they're way more detailed than this. All right. I do numerology. I also do astrology. I also tap into some tarot. So the first reading that I offer with that reading comes with a breakdown of your numbers, your birthday, your name. All right. Helps you understand who you are, a lot of traits that you have. That first reading is 222. It also comes with a breakdown of your birth chart. That birth chart breakdown for the 222 is where I go into the minor or the major aspects of your chart. It's not every look into every placement in your chart. I look at your sun, moon, rising, your Chiron, and your north node. All right, it's kind of like the major aspects in your chart. The 333 reading is where I go through your full birth chart. All right. Within that, though, that is my most in-depth reading. All right. Those readings sometimes go 2, 3 hours. All right. I record all my readings on Zoom. So you will get those recordings sent back to you. I got some people in here now that have outlets gotten readings from me that get them. Some people come back once a year, some people come twice a year. It just depends on where you are within that. But my readings meet you where they are, and they also give you a comprehensive or in-depth look off into why you go through the cycle that you go through in your life, and why you could experience some of the things that you experience in your life. So I hope they help you understand the readings. And also my coaching, my mentorship is $555 a month, and it comes with the reading. My mentorship comes with the reading, it comes with the Reiki session, and it also comes with the herbal regimen. So if you want to detox, if you want to go through a purging, whatever you got going on in your life, I give you a regimen for that. And also it comes with 4 weeks of working with me. So I work with you for 4 weeks. We go through 4 Zoom calls, one per week. You also get access with me for 30 days. It's kind of to help you integrate wherever you are, what you're learning about your chart, all that good stuff. I go through journal prompts. I create them for you as well. All right. So the readings that I go are powerful, but sometimes people might need a little while to integrate into what it means to their life. That's where the coaching comes into play. So I even offer a lot of people, if you pay for a reading, I would use that as if you want to get into the mentorship after the reading. Your reading was your down payment. So if you get a reading, 222 or 333, and after the reading you decide I want to go with mentorship, sensei, I will apply your 230, your 222 or your 333 into your mentorship price. All right. So if there's something that you do choose, or anybody does choose that, I'm here for that. And if you let me know that you were in this Zoom and you want to get a full reading, I will give you a discount just for being in here and spending your time, your energy with me. All right.
Okay,
So if you
well,
are interested in a reading, I will give you, because you were here, I will give you $50 off. So any reading that you choose, the 222 or the 333, and if you choose one of those four readings, I'll give you $50 off of that reading. Just let me know that you were in the workshop.
okay, well, you're not following me, so you got to check your inbox.
I will. I'm gonna
All
check it.
right. All right. Thank you, Kamisha.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you, Mimi. Anybody else? All right, I appreciate y'all. Now I want to make sure that nobody else got no questions or anything. All right, I got all those people emails out of the chat. I was just copying, pasting. And if you don't have to send it in the chat. For those of you who inboxed it to me, I'll get to those too. All right, but I just did that for some people who might not have access to my social media or whatever. So I appreciate you. Appreciate you all for your time and energy, and hopefully you can benefit from this. And the replay will be posted on my YouTube. All right. So appreciate you all for your time, your energy, and you all enjoy this new moon energy. And don't forget, if you want that full breakdown, hit me up so I can get that to you so you can get your own personalized ritual so you can embrace that under this new moon energy. All right. So high vibration to you all, beautiful soul. Appreciate you all. And see you all on the full moon. All right. I'll be doing a full moon workshop coming up for the full moon in Aquarius. All right. So my workshops will always be around the moons, the new moon and full moon cycles. So be looking for me under Aquarius full moon, and we're gonna see how we have integrated this new moon energy and what seeds did you plant as they illuminate into the full moon cycle. So high vibration, beautiful souls. Gratitude to y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all night. Peace.
All right. Good night.